Hello, and latest live video today, the last day of April of 2021.
Yeah, April 30th. Yep. Yeah.
I am Mitch Morrison, and this
is Kerry Holzman.
Wait. Cut.
Reverse that.
Turn that around.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a Friday if we didn't already start having connection issues. So let me
switch. Yeah.
Well, let's just monitor this for just a second and see if it gets any better. We had a number of contributions.
It's in the red.
Oh, yeah. All right, hold on. Let me switch it. I don't know why this has to happen to me when I go live.
Yeah, no data.
There we go. Now it's connecting. Now we're back up.
Now we're back.
All right. Let's see if this one holds stable, huh?
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. Yeah. It is the last day of April 2021. My name is Kerry Morrison, and this is
Mitch Holzman.
There you go.
There you go. And it's another Freaky Friday, so.
Yeah, I've got some surprises set up for you. First of all, though, we had a couple of contributions come in before we've even gone live, and I want to shout out a thank you to Peter Laycock, who contributed 50 pounds. Tony Wallow been very generous. He just contributed $99.99 in the chat, and
wow.
a $100 Amazon gift card earlier. So I'm going to have to be building a computer for Tony here next week or something. Tony's going to be putting me.
What a guy! What a guy!
Hey, thank you for supporting the channel.
Yeah.
This case that we're working on today came from a viewer named Ryan G. And Ryan's been very generous to the channel, and I think whatever we build today, I'm going to offer it to Ryan as a thank you, because Ryan sent this back in May
of last year.
Well, it's not May yet, so
I was just testing.
Yeah, so it was sitting in my garage, and I've been so busy, and then I kind of forgot about it. And as I was clearing out the garage and bringing things over here to Studio B, I was like, oh, I got to build in this. So we're going to do the Lian Lancool 2. That again was sent in by viewer Ryan G. And we had a couple other contributions. Rock and Rob just contributed $5. He says, good afternoon, Kerry, Mitch, and chat. For the cause, my peeps.
How are we coming in, by the way? Is our audio, Kerry's, is his low, mine high? I don't know. I mean,
I cranked the audio way up now, and I found that it was picking up a lot of background stuff. So let us know. It should be much louder.
Okay.
Thomas Backenstow with a $20 contribution, and he says, here's to another great show on tap. Thank you, Thomas. And Planet Cryos, he says, hey, Kerry, Mitch, and chat, hope all is well. Yeah. And, it's sort of amused by when Planet Cryos contributes, because I owe him money.
Yeah.
He's been doing those edits.
And I got to tell you, Planet Cryos, I was impressed with the Noctua CPU fan edit.
Oh, the cooler.
Two thumbs up on that one. Yeah, very nice. That's because I did the close-ups. That's why it was very...
Is that why? It's possible.
Yeah.
Marty Yoel joins us. Contributes $5. Hey, Marty, good to see you, my friend.
Down there in Florida. Yeah.
And Randolph Slavin contributes £5. Thank you, Randolph. Is it Randolph? Yeah, that's Randolph. All right, I have something I haven't told anybody about. So I'm just going to tell you. You guys...
Okay.
We're going to do something different today. We're in the red, now we're in the orange, we're back in red, back in orange, back in red, back in orange, back and forth. This connection is still struggling with some internet connection issues here, guys. So I'm going to reboot the hotspot, go back to the Wi-Fi connection, which has been wavering.
Yeah. Well, we're back at 4,300 kilobits or whatever.
Which is right where it should maintain. It's not like I require all this, but it's a real struggle. So let me see if we can get this ironed out before we...
Yeah, now it's back to 0.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Very freaky.
It is a freaky Friday. Okay, so the hotspot's rebooted. Gonna be one of. Okay, let's see if we get a stable connection.
Take 7.
All right, well, nothing a little 16 hours of editing can't fix.
Right.
All right. So anyway, I wanted to do something a little different today.
Okay. You're in a rut? I mean, literally, you're in a rut.
I really like
Nutty.
what we refer to as junk food or snack foods.
Okay.
Like I am a connoisseur of snack foods.
I'll verify that. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've seen my rotating museum of anything crunchy.
Okay.
And it turns out there's a monthly subscription to a service called Munch Pack. No, they are not sponsoring this video.
Okay.
And I may not be ordering another one.
Because this one's going to blow up in your face? No.
Well, I'm going to show you. I kind of took a sneak peek in here, but you can get snacks from around the world. They source them, and every month they send you a different Munch Pack, and you can even get a drinks with this.
You didn't already eat the chocolate-covered ants, because that's what I want.
No, I
save those for
I
me.
ate the crunchy frogs.
Okay.
Because they still have bones in them, or they wouldn't be crunchy. So let's take a look. Let's do this. Let me put Nutty over there. I put the drink.
I'm just waiting to see if I can hear ticking.
I put the drink in the refrigerator. This drink, I think this is from Thailand, and I think it's pineapple flavored Fanta.
Oh, okay. Dig the crazy spelling. All right. I should know. I spent a month there.
Yeah. Did you have one of those when you were in Thailand?
I can't say that I did, or I can't remember.
So, let me grab the wireless camera, and I'll have you open the box.
Okay.
And we'll get your reaction to what's inside. I've already taken a sneak peek. But the problem is, remember I mentioned how, well, this is to the audience, not to you. In Arizona, we're already getting our summer temperatures.
Yeah, yesterday I went to get the motorcycle, the oil changed at 3 in the afternoon, and it was already 90. I didn't like that.
Yeah, well, imagine if you get some chocolate and gummy. Okay, so I'm hoping that we're going to be reconnected now. For some reason, the hotspot just rebooted itself. We had a great solid connection, and then it just, for no apparent reason.
Take 8. All right.
So we're going to keep going. Apologize for the delays, guys. A couple more contributions have come in. Cameron Gunner with 50 Norwegian krona. Colin Hunt with 10 pounds. And Chris Storer with $4.99. He says, hello, Carrie and Mitch. I hope your Friday is going well. Here's a Coke for both of you if you want. All right.
I've already had 7, so I'm very calm.
Okay, so I've got the handheld camera. We're going to open up the Munch Pack and see these are snacks from around the world. And I think I'll have you turn it this way, and I'm gonna point the camera like that. I'm going to switch over to camera 2. Let's hope the internet stays up for the rest of the broadcast. I hope all those little gremlins are behind us. What is this, camera 3? I think this is 3. Let's see what happens here. There it is. Oh, and there's $5 again there from Madi. Hey, Madi, thank you. All right, so there's the Munch Pack.
It is not ticking, so are we ready?
Yeah, let's see. We got snacks from around the world. All right.
Okay.
And it says enter to win a 3-month subscription.
Here's the
here.
Featuring delicious snacks from Israel, Germany, Netherlands, and more. Is this what's in it, or is this what you can order? Probably this is what's in it.
No. We only get, so they have different size Munch Packs. This is like a 10 snack box.
Okay. Tropical cream soda from Thailand. Okay.
All right. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, very fancy. We have yummy gummies.
Sour rainbow cables.
Let's crack them open. Let's see what they taste like. Here, you want some scissors?
Okay. Left-handers hate scissors. Okay. There we go.
Oh, okay. I got to get you some special scissors.
Oh, and then it comes in a.
What is going on there?
I don't know. One's asleep.
You're not diabetic, are you?
Don't wake him up.
Because you're gonna be.
Delicious. How can those go back in? All right,
These
interesting.
taste exactly like they look.
Disgusting. No, okay.
Hey, if I was...
But GMO-free, cholesterol-free, and peanut-free.
Well, I will tell you, when it comes to my snacks, I always like to make sure that they're extraordinarily gluten, but you know, how much sugar does this have?
Expired April 2019. Okay.
No, it doesn't say that, does it?
How much sugar?
No, wait, what's the expiration date? Because they do make a claim.
And we're take 9.
Yeah, the
Sorry about this, folks.
Hotspot just restarted itself the second time for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
So, all right, where were we?
This is a Joree sour apple fruit.
You know what? Hold on a second.
roll-up.
Let's look at the country on those yummy gummies we just did. What's the country of origin on those? Should be like in the bottom of the package.
Made in Turkey.
Oh, okay. All right, and now where's this one from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Is that the importer, or is that?
Manufactured in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, all right.
So
Get the
that's,
rope.
So that's that.
Oh, you're not going to try it? You just skipped right past that one.
Oh, this has got to be from Thailand, yeah. These look like, you know, kind of the squares. What's the Stardust or Starburst? Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, what's the next one you want to try?
Choose some strawberry candy. Well, let's take a look.
You're cheating.
Spicy spiders.
Yeah, but here's the spooky spiders.
Spooky spiders.
But it looks like they've all melted into one big gelatinous glob.
Yeah, that.
Open that up. Let's take a look at that. Where's that product? Where's it made?
This is made in Spain.
Oh. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
So these were probably supposed to be individual spiders.
Yeah, well, I would imagine it wasn't supposed to be a one big melted. Use your imagination and just imagine it's a spider glob of gummy. So I don't.
Sound effects. I didn't cut deep enough. All right, wait a minute. I'll get you yet, Mr. Glob Spider. All right, that's gotta. Yeah.
Is that gonna do it? Wobbly and see how far this goes before we run into another problem. Yeah, it's already dropping.
Yeah. Now it's back up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to go back and forth on this. Okay. So the internet here, as you're witnessing, is solid and then non-existent.
Yeah. And then boom, back to red.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we're bouncing all over the place. Yeah, it looks pretty stable. Nope. Yeah, so I'm back. We're back on this Wi-Fi, which is really iffy. The hotspot keeps resetting itself, and now when it's connecting us, it's not giving. It's saying that we've got internet, but it's not giving us internet. So there's something going on with the hotspot. In the meantime, we're on the regular Wi-Fi connection. People need to understand that there's no internet in this location. I have no cable to run as an option. It's not possible. So I'm using Wi-Fi because it's the only thing I can use. And unfortunately, because of the status of this location, there's nothing I can do about it. This is sort of a take it or leave it situation. So hopefully we're back up and running and everybody can see us now. And we may just have to live with this one because even though it kind of dips and goes up and down,
Okay.
and I'm starting to think that wireless transmitter on that other camera may be interfering because now we're pretty solid.
Solid, yeah.
So maybe I just won't use that. So let's go back to where we were, and looks like Tony Wallow contributed another $99.99.
Tony.
Wow.
Tony. It's not a Freaky Friday. It's a fabulous Friday now. Thank you. So.
Thank you very much, Tony. I'm going to have to do something special for a build for Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, very generous.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hope now that see how good we've been? We've been solid this whole time.
It might have been the
I'm
close-up
wondering if that wireless transmitter is interfering.
It's just too strong, yeah.
Maybe something that I need to use sparingly.
Yet it didn't last week. Worked great, you know. So, what's the difference between last week? That plate in your head acting up again?
It might be.
So, casting. So,
I'll tell you what, before we try any others, let's try this drink because I'm getting a little thirsty.
Okay.
This is, I think, a pineapple Fanta from Thailand.
Okay.
Let's get some ASMR in here.
Yeah, I'll bet you a buffalo nickel you're going to hate it, but
I like pineapple though.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
David Smith contributes £5. Hey David, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if you guys contributed and I missed it. Just let me know in the chat there. Luke Renia, it just dropped.
Yeah.
It just dropped. It just came back. Now it's dropping again. And another 50 Norwegian kroner. Thank you guys so much. Well, what a crazy day this is.
Reboot the router? I don't know.
We're not on this router.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it looks like.
Take a pull off that and see.
Well, let me pour some in here for you.
Okay.
So you don't have to have my cooties.
Yeah.
Kind of interested in the color. Oh,
sure.
It's green.
Just like the can.
It's exactly like the can.
Isn't that how Mountain Dew should look? No, Mountain Dew's do. Did you smell it? Yeah.
Here goes nothing. Oh, that's disgusting. It tastes like, what would you call that flavor? Yuck? New Fanta Yuck.
From Thailand.
Here, you want some more?
No, thanks. I can't even describe that.
It's like a mango. It's not pineapple. It's like a mango. You need some water?
No, I need some peanut M&Ms
to clear the palate?
to clean the palate.
This was supposed to be like the first 10 minutes of the show was just going to go through this. And we're now half an hour into the show, and yeah, this wasn't supposed to be the entire show. This looks interesting. These are, I'll just bring it up to the camera instead of using the Wi-Fi. These are pizza-flavored pretzel sticks.
Pretzel stick.
Now these are from, where are these from? Thailand. Everything's from Thailand today.
Cucamonga.
Troll McTrollington says it's a Fantai instead of a Fanta.
Oh.
All right, let's see what we got in here.
Scissors.
Aziz? Scissors. Jeez, I fixed the audio, I fixed the lights, and now I can't even broadcast.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Now, if it's pizza flavor, truly pizza flavor, I'll like it.
Oh, they're very tiny. They almost like toothpicks in there.
Richard S. says, I want a Carrie and Mitch get drunk episode. Don't you wish? All right.
Hey, never say never.
Yeah.
We'll do that when we're building your computer.
Yeah, I mean, it's pizza flavor. I'll give you that.
It's more like cheese stick flavor.
Yeah.
You know the fried cheese sticks you get? You want another one?
No thanks, I gotta drive. All right.
Okay, I will say this. They're not bad, but they're not good.
Look at this weird looking thing.
What the hell is this? First of all, it's hard, whatever it is. I could probably crush it. What is this?
I don't know.
Well, here, I'm sure it'll tell us on the back. Just read that. Where's this from?
Let's see.
Yeah, maybe you can read it.
Because I've got my glass.
Your glasses?
No, that's Thai. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what's in this.
It's hollow. Kind of look like a cannoli, but
This looks like a dog treat.
then you should try it.
Woof. Let's see what's.
Okay. Go ahead, light that up and see. Smoke that later.
Here, it's a corn snack, whatever. It is.
Yeah, it's very light.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's a big Cheeto.
Yeah.
It's just a big Cheeto. There's one thing I like so far. And it's already gone.
Now here's something everybody would like if it's not melted. Kit Kat Gold. Ooh.
What the heck is a Kit Kat Gold? Never even heard of that before. Is it just caramel instead of whatever?
I don't know. A smushed Kit Kat.
Black Watch contributes $5 Canadian. He says, it's not freaky? Now I have to change my comment. Chris says puff, puff, pass. That's funny.
You're messing up the rotation.
It was a cheese puff.
It's puff, puff, give. You're messing up the rotation. That was from the movie Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker.
Oystein says gold version, really nice. So in Norway, maybe they know what this is, but I've never seen this. Oh, it's a little, it's quite melty. Now this has had a full day indoors to chill out. I'm not sure what's happening here.
The key word is not chill out.
No, I meant that literally.
Oh.
But you can see how it's
Oh, the
just,
caramel, yeah, is on the back. Very nice.
oh, it doesn't smell like, well,
Kit Kat?
here. So they're supposed to snap and it just kind of, it doesn't snap.
Smells like something I stepped in once, you know?
That explains the footprint.
Different.
Yeah, it's caramel.
Yeah.
Caramel Kit Kat. Okay.
Okay.
That tastes exactly like you think it would.
And this is nacho Cheetos.
It is my Cheetos.
Nacho. So that's just a standard.
I'm going to dump this out before it becomes toxic. So gross. The Kit Kat, definitely not my favorite.
No.
I understand why it's not sold here, because, I mean, Kit Kats are already so good.
Now here's something made in the Netherlands.
Oh, it's a stroopwafel.
A stroopwafel. Caramel waffle.
I didn't realize you spoke many languages.
Fluent. Caramel waffle cookie. That might be pretty nice.
You weren't supposed to cherry pick. You're supposed to just grab whatever is in there and try it.
I want to try the
I've had stroopwafels and I don't like them, but they're just too sweet for me. I've never had this brand.
Take it there. Oh.
And while I am a fussy eater, if there's anything I will try, it's junk food. Michael Dane contributes $10. He goes, hey, it's the Mitch and the Holzman.
And you know who Michael Dane is?
Who is he?
The man.
That's right. Michael Dane is the man.
You're the myth, I'm the legend. All right.
Why don't you break that in half for me?
Okay.
Do you hear the ocean?
So you have had these before?
I've had stroopwafels before because they look good, but they don't taste good. Is that apple?
Yeah.
I actually like this one.
Yeah, whatever the center is a good flavor.
It tastes like apple. My problem with stroopwafels is they're often too sweet for my palate. These are not too sweet. These are quite good. These are the, it's caramel. Well, I taste apple. Because the Kit Kat was definitely caramel.
Yeah.
Christopher G says, never drink anything green. I agree. Try to avoid eating anything green. Well, now we're just having a little fluctuation on the Wi-Fi there.
Little buffering.
Frank Casey is, you guys are a new comedy team, smart and smarter.
I'm glad I'm the smarter.
He didn't specify which was which.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I ate the whole stroopwafel.
Prince's.
That's gonna be my meme.
Yeah. Prince's Choco Jammies.
No, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll hold it
It
to
is
the
of a
camera.
Prince. Prince's Cherry Center or something like that.
Oh God, just I really don't want to try this one.
No.
Where's it from? Any idea? Anything that's got a jam or something like that is just gross. Luke Greenius says, and on my internet connection, here we go. So Luke Greenius says he just PayPal $50. He says, thanks again for the great content. Thank you, Luke, as always. Gonna get your computer done this coming week, Luke. Appreciate your patience.
Chocolate covered treat with real strawberry jam inside.
Planet Cryos contributes $5. He says, my time right now consists of eating dinner whole, watching you to munch, while watching you to.
Buffer, it's from Thailand. Yeah.
Thailand?
I can't with the strawberry center.
No, I can't either.
I'd rather do it.
What's the thing you set aside, though? That one I think I wanted to try.
It's empty, that's it.
No. You set it over here. Remember, you kind of skipped.
Oh.
I said you're not supposed to skip past them.
Sour apple?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a sour apple fruit roll. What are you afraid of there, Mitch?
I'll try anything once, twice.
I'll do it 10 million times if I like it. It's green. That's not a good start.
That's sour apple. You go first.
All right. Let's just. It was just the way Grandma used to make it. Would you like some apple leather?
Yeah.
I'd eat this.
Yeah. Tastes like a
Apple fruit roll-up.
those Jolly Ranchers. You know.
It's not sweet enough to be a Jolly Rancher. Does it say where it's made? It tastes like somebody flattened. If you like apples.
Still just says manufactured in Brooklyn, New York.
Well, that's the Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? All right. Rick Rubicet with €5 says, good evening. Another small contribution for the channel. Enjoy your munch pack and stay healthy. Well, I don't know that you can do both at this. All right. Save the best for last, because I see a bag of Cheetos in there. And if it's Cheetos, what flavor? Nacho flavored Cheetos. Where's that from? So it should be on the back.
It says Salud. Mexico.
Mexico. Hola, me llamo Terry. Mucho gusto. ¿Cómo está?
So as long as you don't live in a warm climate like we do here in Phoenix, so your gummy spiders won't be melty.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
If these are nacho flavor from Mexico and they don't taste like nacho flavor,
You'll be a monkey's uncle.
well, I already am.
Okay.
Harry Sure contributes $2. He says, here's a Coke on me, youngster.
All right. Compared to me, you are a youngster. All right, I'll try
Ooh.
it. Here we go.
Very jalapeno-y. It's a very strong jalapeno flavor.
Oh, yeah.
I like the flavor of jalapenos because they're not just heat.
I like them.
In fact, I don't taste any heat. I just taste.
I give them the Mitch thumbs up.
Okay, so out of everything, did we try everything but the little jam stuff?
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, it's a jam.
That's a Choco Jam.
What was your favorite? Like if you could order one of these to have more of them, what would you want more of?
Those. Because I didn't realize it was going to have a flavor of jalapeno.
No, I didn't either.
And it's just a flavor of it.
Yeah, there's no heat on it. Brian Loss with a $19.99 contribution said, we need to see Mitch rebuild a Subaru engine and get Mike to build a PC. I'd pay to watch that, about $19.99.
Yeah. Well, Mitch does own a Subaru Forester. It's a 2016 Touring. It's
I wonder if they can hear you over my crunching.
Yeah, it's a Touring 2.5. Here it is, 2016. I got her new, and I've already got 80,000 miles on it. But that's when I was going back and forth to LA quite a bit, and so. But I really like the Subaru Forester. I can put the rear seats down, throw a blow-up mattress in there, and sleep in it if I need to.
I would say that this Cheeto thing, this was good, but there wasn't much there. And these pizza sticks, they're not good or bad. I'll eat them though.
Yeah.
And then the apple thing was okay. It's apple, and the caramel Kit Kat, again, not terrible, not good. Overall, I would say that the
Munch Pack.
I emailed the folks at Munch Pack regarding my concern of getting any future ones. I'd like to do this once a month, but it's no good if all the chocolate and gummy treats are all melted.
Yeah.
And the summer's only just begun. It's going to get hotter from here. Oh, we missed one.
We missed one.
But does that have something stuffed in it? Is there a variety, or is it just one flavor?
Flavor.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Anyway, I emailed them, and their customer service is really quick to respond, and they said that they didn't have any way of just removing chocolate or gummy items from a pack.
Right.
Because I said, look, if there's no sense in me continuing this if half of it's ruined from the heat. So do you guys, you must ship to hot climates.
Right.
What do you do about it? And they didn't really answer that question, basically, and said, there's nothing we can do. Which wasn't what you want to hear from customer service.
No.
You want to hear, or we're sorry that they didn't work out. Yes, we're aware this is an issue. But I didn't get any of that. Nothing we can do. So that's a little disappointing. If you guys want to try Munch Pack, I think it's kind of fun. But summertime, it seems like they shouldn't ship this in the summer, because I can't imagine any state in the United States where that's not going to melt between the months of May through August.
I wanted my own gummy spider. I did. I would have eaten a whole gummy, not a whole globulate.
All right, so in this bag we've got individually...
That's hard candy though, right?
Yeah, they're individually wrapped.
I don't know if my dentures will handle those, but I'll try it.
You know what? You can always buy new dentures.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a funky looking, looks like taffy.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's taffy.
No.
If it's taffy, and it might pull your teeth out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. I have some crowns, and that might.
Yeah.
But that's taffy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, not good on the
neither
teeth.
one of us. Yeah.
Neither. Yeah.
I paid too much for my teeth.
Yeah. I did. I still have to do more work.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just rinse my hands.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you enjoyed us. We do apologize for the glitches, but it's a Freaky Friday, and weird things can happen here. And
yeah, and the connection that we started with has been really good now.
Now I'll set this Munch Pack aside.
So now Munch Pack didn't sponsor this video at all. I paid for it, and then I was curious, and I thought it would be something fun and different to do, and like I said, I really enjoy my snacks. And it's unfortunate that I didn't have this idea a couple of months ago when the weather was cooler. Maybe it would have been a different experience.
Right.
But you can order the Munch Packs with or without the sodas. I wanted to try the sodas. Again, what I eat is very limited. I'm a very fussy eater. So when it comes to stuff like this is one of those things that, I will try. And
we'll see what next month brings.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna. I have to look and see if I paid for a 3-month subscription or, what the cancellation is. I might just want to cancel it.
Looks like a pickle, doesn't it? Kind of in one of those wrappers.
Mixture, 5-pound bag. And you can see I've eaten a few.
Yeah.
But when I eat these, they make me sneeze. Have you had these?
Yeah.
They're really, really good. And Pistachio Land is...
I think it says no data. Here, look in the upper
Right
left.
here.
Yeah, but look in the upper left.
Yeah, but that's delayed.
Oh.
We're looking here.
Great,
This is where this is the only thing that matters right here. So in any event, these are, if you like pistachios, Pistachio Land has a lot of different flavors of pistachios, along with your traditional plain roasted salted. And they're out of Alamogordo, New Mexico, where most pistachios here in the U.S. are grown. And good high quality product. Fresh pistachios from the farm are so much better. Like, you thought pistachios were good, you just wait till you have them fresh from the farm. But they're pricey, but worth it. And again, no sponsorship there. I'm just telling you my personal preferences. See, now those folks over at MunchPack could be including nuts and stuff from around the world, and there would be no heat issues.
It certainly would match your personalities.
How dare you suggest I have heat issues? Blackwatch wants us to feed the squirrel. He's getting a little big around the middle, so he's on a little squirrel diet. Yeah. Seeds only.
Well, wasn't that fun? Nah. All right. So we gonna do some work today, Uncle Kerry? Or we gonna let's see what the connection.
I'm glad we didn't start working with that connection all wobbly.
Yeah.
So it's good for us to.
Yeah. Just to see whether she stabilizes.
Yeah, to see if we get some stability out of the connection before we do anything important.
Critical. Yeah.
Now this motherboard we're using, I've already prepped. I'm pretty sure I've got a video of us or just me prepping the board. It's a Gigabyte Gaming. I got the wrong board in the parts list. This is a Z390 Gaming X, and it's got a 9900k Intel i9 processor with 2 sticks of T-Force Team Vulkan memory that are 16 gigs each. Should be a total of 32 gigs. We've got a 1 terabyte Intel 665p. Windows should already be installed and activated with all the drivers, so all we have to do is install the power supply and the motherboard and the cooler into this case. With regards to that, my thanks to the folks at Enermax. Now, Enermax has sent us the power supply and the cooler. Can you show us, Mitch?
Yep.
So the power supply, we've got the Marble Braun 750 watt modular. This is about an $80 power, so it's got a 5-year warranty, and it's 80 plus gold, I think, isn't it? Oh, bronze, 80 plus bronze. It's using Japanese electrolytic compatitors. Compatitors? I saw compatible and capacitor.
Now it is semi-modular, it's not fully modular.
Right. Okay, and then for the cooler, Enermax sent us to review the Liqmax 3 RGB. I think this is a 240 millimeter that's compatible with Aura Sync and Gigabytes and ASRock's RGB and MSI. All 4 of them are in there. Asus, Gigabyte, ASRock, and MSI. So you can wire this into your motherboard and use your motherboard's RGB software so that all the colors are synchronized on one piece of software. And we'll see what their installation process is like and how well it cools on today's build. So my thanks to the folks at Enermax for providing the power supply and the cooler that we're gonna use on this build. Steve Warrington contributes $2 and AC's drafting with $50. AC says, right on, guys. Good to have fun. Thanks again, Kerry. Thank you, Aaron.
AC
and Gunnar and Gunnar with another 50 Norwegian kroner contribution says he's waiting for the sugar rush, boys.
Between that and the seven midget Cokes, or mini Cokes I drank.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah.
These are dwarf Cokes.
Dwarf Cokes equal about two swallies apiece. Well, it seems to be holding steady.
Yeah.
And this case has wings beneath my feet. No, is that beneath?
This is a very strange case, and I really didn't want to work on this case. I got to be honest. One of the reasons this was put off so long is because I didn't want to do it.
It's got hinges, right? Hinges.
Well, yeah. Here's what's interesting.
Yeah. And it goes. Let me do the sound effect. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you can't just do that.
Okay.
First, you'll notice the black area. See this area? This is overlapping the glass. So you can't open this glass until you open this first. So this opens downwards. And it's just magnets holding it together. See? And then you can open the glass. And one of my major concerns about this is it looks like a nightmare for cable management. But the fact that there's no way to secure the side panels, if you ever see me work on a case where the side panels don't have screws, it upsets me, because it means that if you pick this computer up and tilt it, it's quite possible things going to swing out and hit something. And there should be some form of securing it other than magnets. Now, these magnets are pretty strong, but you can see that glass is not lining up with the edge of this case. I have to kind of push it, and then it kind of moves and adjusts. So not a big fan of that. Let's get this off of here, because this looks terrible. Why would they put it on the inside?
Steady now, steady.
All right. Yeah, that looks a little better. Well, maybe it's not overlapping. Maybe you...
It was an optical conclusion, all right?
Oh, I guess you can't open it without opening the bottom. I mean, I don't know where you grip it from. There's really no way to... There's nothing to get your hands underneath. So you pretty much have to open this. And that's a strong magnet right there. In order to get... There's just no way... There's no handle. Anyway, I wasn't looking forward to this, but here today has come, and I guess we're going to do this today. And
Richard says it's going to be a FedEx nightmare. Amen. You want to take the shrink wrap their muscles?
They put shrink wrap on the other. Oh, there's glass on the.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why companies put glass on the wire side. This is where all your cabling is going to be. Why would you want anybody to see that? Also, it adds a lot of weight to the computer. Oh, I see what they did. Oh, look here. You see these panels? These are optional, and it's to hide the cabling. So that's adding a lot of expense. So on Amazon, this case is about $100. You've got a space for two 2.5-inch drives there. You've got our hard drive cage down here, which looks like it's got room for three 3.5-inch drives. Let's flip it back over, or turn it back around. This is all RGB here and here.
And I'll show you the top.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah, it's heavy, isn't it?
Steady now, okay.
What do we got going on? Button says C and a button says M. What does that mean? What is C and M? That power and reset don't begin with a C or an M. Oh, you know what? That's got to be for controlling the RGB lights. This is your power switch, which looks like it has an LED around it. Reset switch right there. A single 3.5 millimeter combined headphone and microphone jack, like a cell phone. Looks like two USB 3s, and then there's a rubber plug over something that's, I guess, an optional feature. And it looks like they put the documentation underneath this magnetic screen at the top of the case. And then there's a handle or a little cutout in here, which is interesting, maybe for pulling the front off of it for some reason. Okay. And we have a rear, you can go ahead and set it back. We have a rear case fan and a single front case fan included. Now for $100, it seems like it's a pretty good value for, given the fact you've got tempered glass in there. But again, this tempered glass on this side, I don't understand that at all. You're not going to be lighting this side up. And even with the cable management hidden, at most you can see the two 2.5-inch
and this
drives.
would be considered a full tower. There's
that's
no way, there's no way this is a,
Well, actually it's a mid-tower.
Okay.
This would be considered a mid-tower case, but it's for full ATX, in other words. But I would think a full tower would be another couple inches taller, in my opinion. I'm not quite sure how it's advertised. So, okay. How are we doing? How's our connection? We're good? We're good?
It seems pretty stable, even though you're not, but I mean, you know, beggars can't be choosers.
that here before I
dive in.
See if I missed anything. Again, if you're watching now in the chat room, if you want to repost anything that might have gotten by me during these last 30 minutes, I apologize. Rick Hubbard contributes £5. Thank you, Rick. And Eddie Sawyers with $5. Thank you, Eddie. Chris Johnson contributed $10. He says, good afternoon, Carrie and Mitch. Enjoy your Gatorade. Hey, when I'm drinking the Coke, they tell me to enjoy the Gatorade. Right. When I'm drinking the Gatorade, they tell me to enjoy the Coke. Nonetheless, I appreciate your contribution. I got everybody. If I missed you, please let me know, because that's as far up as the chat's going back for me.
Okay.
Oystein says it is listed as a mid-tower. That sounds right to me.
Jeez.
Yeah, because when I built computers in the 90s, those were full towers, and they were quite a bit taller.
Yeah.
But it's not a...
They had
you could put a full-size motherboard in there.
They had full towers way back then?
That's all they had.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no choice.
You're right.
Yeah.
You could get a beige full tower or a beige full tower.
And Lagrini confirms that it's advertised as a mid-tower.
Jeez. It's a beast.
Thanks, guys. Catherine Annenhauser mentions there is an additional mesh front panel of it. I guess you could switch the front panels out, apparently, but that's how it comes. Siegfried Samano says, I recently built 2 systems, mesh version of that Lancool case, and thankfully the glass panels are removable by the hinges.
Yeah.
I've never seen a case where the glass panels were not removable by the hinges in the exact same way this case is. If you look back at the history of this channel, anytime I work on a computer that has tempered glass panels or any swing out doors, every single time those swing out doors simply lift off. I've never seen anything any different, so I wouldn't say it has. I've never seen any alternative for swing out glass or plastic or metal panels. If they swing out like a door, then they often just lift straight up on the hinges.
And I do like the 80s band Swing Out Sister, who had a hit song Breakout. I really like that song.
Wow.
Yeah, that ages me.
That's
All
a
right.
deep cut.
Yeah. So.
Tony Cheek says, this is an awesome case. My daughter just built her gaming system in it.
Nice.
Well, I mean, the gaming system is going to be dependent on a graphics card. That's the hard part. Now, the case is a solid case. Like, it's heavy.
Right.
It seems to be made very well. Mm-hmm. I've never really had an issue with quality on Lian Li cases. For a while, they were making these all aluminum cases that were very lightweight and scratch resistant because they were just brushed aluminum. And I have some clients that still use those today, but we just don't have USB 3 up front because the cases are that old. It was like a PC, Lian Li PC99, I think was the name of the case.
And you said this is about 100 biscuits,
yeah.
Bongos, bananas?
About $100.
Okay, $100.
I mean, that's a good deal for $100.
Yeah.
€5 contribution says, great build as always, lads. Just buried my baby sister today. Popped in to say hello and enjoy tonight's build.
Okay.
Well, that sounds like terrible news. I'm sorry to hear that, Paul, but hope maybe we can distract you and get your mind off of things. Blackwatch wants to know if it comes packed full of crisps. No, that's the Rick Hubbard special edition of the case.
Man, those were great chips. Those were great. Carrie let me try them, and
he only got to try them. I didn't send them home with any. I didn't have enough to share.
Mitchy likey.
I'm telling you, they should sell those in the States.
Yeah.
I don't know why Frito-Lay doesn't jump on that. Getting some alerts with our connection status, but I don't know why, because everything's looking good here.
Could be in YouTube's end, too. Never know.
Luke Greeny says, I do like the RGB on the front. We'll see when we get to that point. Stan mentions those chips, those crisps are Walker's smoky bacon crisps from London. They're from England. They're really good.
They should sell them here in the States.
Lana Dro says junk food is the only food that's good for the body. If food is preserved for years, then our body is preserved too. They're going to dig me up like a mummy in 1,000 years. My body will be perfectly mummified from all the preservatives that I eat. That's my theory.
Oh, and I do want to give a big shout out and a thank you to all you people in chat who did have my short film Adrift.
Mention people who maybe didn't watch it
and leave the comments. I was in a little short film that was 4.5 minutes long. You can see it on YouTube. The director's name is Dustin James Layton, and the short film is called Adrift. And it's a little spacey, but it's top-notch production quality. He did it in 7 days. I mean, from filming to editing, the sound effects, the music, and he's kind of a one-man band like Carrie, and I'm very impressed.
It was very well done. I wouldn't call it spacey. Nothing space about it.
No.
Twilight Zone-ish, maybe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And maybe somebody in chat, we're up to about 3,200 views. That's pretty good. I mean,
Richard S. says, excellent acting, Mitch.
Oh, thank you.
See any other questions here in the chat?
Should we take a chance? Brisket? Biscuit? Crispet?
Sherry McFarland says, I like Adrift, and you look great in that suit, Mitch.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing what you can get at Goodwill. There's a free plug, right?
Kur Vogel says, hey, Mitch, I loved your stand-up also.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm not a big believer in using profanity or cursing when I do stand-up.
I make up for it for you.
Yeah, so people seem to come up to me and go, we like the fact that you didn't curse. I'm like, were you laughing? Or like, I'm like, I don't see, you got to have 4 minutes of clean material if you want to get on television. A lot of comics I know say, I don't have 4 minutes of clean material. And I'm like, well, then you ain't getting on TV.
Well,
and so
even Richard Pryor and George Carlin somehow managed to get on TV.
Yeah, right.
So it's not that every joke is profane.
Right.
Profane? Is that the word?
Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a guy, his name is, he's been around a long time. Mm-hmm. His name is Bob Zaney.
Yeah.
And he's been around, decades. And he's very sarcastic, which of course is my thing. And he says to me, this lady comes up to me after the show, and she goes, I thought you were funny at first, but then it just kind of, not so much as the show went on. And he goes, that's interesting, because as you were walking over, I thought you seemed like a really attractive person, but now that you've spoken to me, not so much.
Funny. That's funny. Yeah.
And then this guy's like, I work 16 hours a day every day. And he goes, well, you should get some rest. He goes, I'll sleep when I'm dead. He says, well, go to bed early.
That's right off the cuff.
If you type in Bob Zaney, Z-A-N-Y on YouTube, there's a recent Dry Bar Comedy is the name of the channel. And they have some great comedy there.
Blackwatch says, I did see Adrift, and Mitch is still adrift. He's being a Weisenheimer again.
Red says George Carlin was on the Ed Sullivan Show. There you go.
Yeah.
So everybody's asking for the link to Adrift.
Again, on YouTube, you type in Dustin, D-U-S-T-I-N, Dustin James Layton.
See if we can do that.
Yeah.
I know it's in the video notes of the last Friday
last Friday's show, but we'll type it in.
Let me go to YouTube and grab it.
James. There it is. Yeah.
He got 3,100 views, it looks like.
Yeah. We got 405 people watching, so.
There's the link for Adrift.
Thank you very much.
Catherine Anna Hauserman, I think, also just put it in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's very well done. The director, the cinematographer, he did a great job. The music and audio are spot on.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a little bit of a little Twilight Zone-ish kind of thing.
Kinda. I mean, weird.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's not really
Weird.
clear.
Yeah. So, but thank you for clicking on it. Appreciate it. So,
All right, so should we get started? We should
I
start.
know you, so that's a big.
Everything else is easy.
Easy, all downhill. Okay.
That's right.
So,
I guess we'll put the power supply in. Let's
Alrighty.
start with that.
and like Carrie always says, these parts are always new. If I knew how to work a knife. Okay. I'm left-handed, but here's goes right. Okay.
Mitch is so delicate with that razor. And
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
slash. What's the problem? Let's go.
I just kept thinking of the game operation, which I was never good at, because I could never get the funny bone out. All right, here we go. Semi-modular, semi or semi. All right, there we go.
Hold on, let's see the way it's packed in.
Okay.
And I got the wrong video feed up. There it is. All right, let's see. Power cord, screws, modular cables, and the power supply itself right here. Ooh, it's got a nice weight to it.
And Carrie's favorite.
Was that a silica packet I hear?
Sounds like maracas. All right.
Would that be Maraca Carry?
Beep. I won't throw it. Yes,
Why not?
Yes, I will. Is that bubble wrap?
It is.
I didn't have my Wheaties this morning.
Mitch doesn't even have the strength to pop bubble wrap.
All right.
Let's take a close-up with the power supply. Marble Broad. Everything looks pretty standard. Not too many connectors on the back there, surprisingly. But that's partly because we already have the motherboard power is already attached. And it looks like they're giving us 2 CPU power connectors. That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's really nice. 5-year warranty. More details about the power distribution and rails there.
That is a strong magnet, now that you mention it, yeah. Whew.
Yeah. Well, I think it has to do with the leverage.
Yeah, too.
Stan Ristoff with a £1.99 says, "Hi, Carrie and Mitch, and happy Friday." Hey, happy Friday. Tell you what, why don't we take these glass panels off of here,
okay.
So that way we can, well, no, you got to open it. You got to open
Oh, yeah,
this.
yeah.
Then go ahead and swing the doors open. Mitch is way too gentle with this stuff. And we should be able to just, yeah, it's got quite some weight to it. It's probably 2 or 3 pounds. Henry Shore with a, wow, $75 contribution. He goes, "Here's $1 for every year I have been on Earth. And this is to shipping one of those gift computers." Wow.
Well, Harry, hoping you double that.
His contribution?
No, his age to 150. So,
Would you want to be alive at 150? I'm not sure.
Knowing you, not really. Tomorrow afternoon will be good.
I'd say that it hurt my feelings if I had any.
Yeah, so where can we put this?
I'm going to just set it here, so just watch your step.
Okay. And another one comes off. Okay.
I wonder if these are interchangeable. No, the black is only on the top. It doesn't go across the bottom there.
Okay.
Little note to myself to remember that. Okay, now.
Oh, it's got little feetsies.
Yeah, a
that it
lot
can
of
rest
cases
on,
will
yeah.
have these little rubber feet down here for the power supply. These are to prevent vibration. Because if the power supply fan is, wiggling in there, it could cause the whole case to vibrate. Then that sounds like a buzzing sound. Wilmer Bogus says, contributed $10. So, Carrie, have you considered the Starlink system for SpaceX internet? I have considered it and in fact was approved for it. However, Studio B is currently on loan with no guarantee of access in the future. So to invest in that,
Right.
the Starlink system is not mobile. So if I were to move to another location, probably within Phoenix, I'll still be, hitting the same satellites. But if I go back to Michigan, for example,
Right.
and you have to sign a contract for it. And since I don't have a contract signed for this location, I'm not going to commit myself to an expense like that until I know for a fact that I have again, this is just a loan, this area. Mm-hmm. And while there has been discussion regarding making it official, there has been a number of postponements and delays that are beyond my control, and I'm sort of in what I would best describe as a limbo. And I'm just very lucky to have this at all, because I don't know what I would be doing.
This kind of limbo? No.
It's worse than that.
Okay.
If you can imagine, if I can't film at Studio A and there is no Studio B, I don't know what I would be doing for YouTube right now. So while these internet issues are a bit frustrating, it's all I can say better than nothing. About the only other thing I could have done would have been to make videos and upload them, but I would never be able to go live. In fact, I could certainly make videos here and then upload them, because the internet connection, as far as uploading goes, doesn't matter. It's just when you're live, you need to have a certain amount of bandwidth constantly. And what you need to understand is, if this place was officially rented to me, then I could put the utilities in my name and I wouldn't need Starlink to begin with.
Right.
And Cox Communications would be a lot cheaper in the long run. And then the folks from AT&T stopped me in the grocery store and said, how would you like fiber for $40 a month for the next 3 years? I said, it's not available. And she goes, yes, it is. I go, it isn't. It isn't. You guys advertise this, and yet the only people who have it, I know 2 people out of about, I don't know how many people I know in Arizona, 500 people. Only 2 out of those 500 people have this fiber, and they don't even know they have it. They're like older people that's what it was. I said, and she goes, well, I don't think that's true. And I said, put in this address. And she says, oh, yeah, it's not available. And I said, I gave her the address for Studio A. I go, now put in that address. And she goes, oh. I said, it says the maximum speed is 1.5 megabits.
Gigablast.
No. With CenturyLink, with AT&T, I guess, bought CenturyLink or Quest.
Oh, okay.
The maximum DSL speed at Studio A, DSL, is 1.5 megabits. I said, I had 1.5 megabits in 1999. So you guys have done nothing to upgrade your infrastructure, and yet you throw all these commercials on TV. And I said, I told you before we interacted, I told you it's not available. But now you see. And then she asked me, well, why is it so important? I explained I was a content creator on YouTube. And then this other person chimed in and goes, oh, what's your channel? And it was like, all right. Anyway.
So clearly Kerry did not have his fiber this morning.
I've never had fiber.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we're going to put the power supply with the fan facing down. Enermax did not put a piece of plastic over
that's
their
unusual.
logo.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. All right, so the fan facing down, and
feed me the wires, or you're going to go in that way?
we'll just go in like this. I see you've got the red handle driver already.
Indubitably. All right.
I think you've done this before, huh?
Yes, a few. There's your screws. Yeah. Scissors? No. Can you get that open?
Yeah, it's just a zip line.
Mitch, man of wisdom. Well, Robert Jones, that must mean you saw it.
The Verge guy, Twitter still gets blown up. So the Stefan Etienne, I think that's his last name. I talked to Stefan. I invited him on the show. And there's a tech who recently interviewed Stefan. His name is Timmy Joe. Timmy Joe. I like Timmy Joe. He's got a great channel. He's out of Canada, And he reminds me of me in a lot of ways, and he doesn't take anything he does too seriously. He keeps everything very real. Check out Timmy Joe's channel, but Timmy Joe got Stefan to allow him to interview him.
Oh, nice.
Which, you know, look, he's got half the number of subscribers I got, and I offered Stefan the same thing. Stefan politely declined. But I will tell you, Stefan didn't have any control over the editing, and Vox Media had no professional editor do any due diligence. And they're a professional news organization. So it's not like if Stefan was like you and I, and he just turned on his own camera and filmed it, he probably wouldn't have gotten many views. But because it came from Verge, owned by Vox Media, they have this built-in audience, and they're expected to be a trusted source of news. And even though they don't typically make those kind of videos, you know, Stefan has been with technology since he was 13 years old. Unfortunately, not only was he rushed to do a job, but nobody gave him any technical guidance. I can't just write a book without a technical editor, at least not with a professional, like my McGraw-Hill book. I can't be my own technical editor. So without a technical editor, The Verge really dropped the ball. And then the editor-in-chief said, we always denied and just shut everybody down who complained about all the technical problems with the video. Our journalists are good and blah, 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 just blindly backed up Stefan until Capital One, the sponsor of the video, pulled their sponsorship. Then The Verge took the video down, but other tech channels were reacting to it, and they were showing clips.
Right.
And they illegally used the DMCA laws to issue takedown notices, which then resulted in a huge firestorm of The Verge trying to bury something that they were moments before defending and are now trying to hide and cover up as a huge embarrassment. And Stefan was nothing more than the host of this program. You can't blame Stefan, because unless you guys are in that situation, well, let me put it to you this way. When I was working with Newegg, I had a stipulation that no video would get released unless it had my final approval, because I needed to see the edit. Let me ask you guys this question, and I want you to think about it. Who filmed that video? Who edited that video? And who approved that video? And who released that video? None of those people were Stefan, and those are all the people to blame. But it's the guy in front of the camera, or the person in front of the camera, that's going to take all the blame. And those people behind the camera, they can make you look good or they can make you look bad. And even with that contract with Newegg, stipulating that I was to approve everything, they still released a couple of things without my consent, and we had it out. And I explained to them, I said, nobody knows who you are. I said, you guys can make me look like a complete fool, and you're gonna ruin my career. You don't understand how critical this is. And it's one of the reasons why the whole thing with Newegg stopped. But if Stefan was young, as he was, and didn't have experience in this field, he got blindsided by The Verge. They really screwed him over. And it's a real shame, because unless you've been put in that position of the corporate bureaucracy, there's everybody who should have been to blame, you guys don't even know their names. And the poor guy in front of the camera takes the brunt of it like it was all his idea. He should have had a technical editor there. And just like any other news story, there's something called due diligence where you verify your facts. The Verge did nothing to verify anything. So whenever you see anything by Vox Media, anything at all, consider if they don't do any due diligence for these videos, then are they doing any due diligence for any content ever? Now I can't trust The Verge at all. I can't trust them. I don't know that they're just publishing without anybody doing any fact checking. So they have completely lost my confidence as a result. And Stefan, he's a young guy. I'm sure he'll bounce back. But it was so unfair for you guys, for the internet in general, to put the blame on him. Again, if he was in his kitchen filming, that's on him.
Yeah.
But he'd have never gotten that many views, we wouldn't be talking about it. The fact that was over 2 years ago and we're still talking about it, In the meantime, I've got some great videos, if I don't say so myself, that are factually true from a person that's been doing this 30 years that don't have a fraction of the number of views that Stefan's video got, nor does anybody know my name compared to knowing his. So I guess if you want to be famous on YouTube, you should purposely screw something up as horrible as possible, because at least that way people will know who you are.
Paul O'Brien says, yo, Mitch, Toto. Well, then let me show you, Paul, my new key ring.
I haven't even seen that.
Huh? Is that sweet or is that sweet?
Matches your license plate.
Very nice.
Thomas Backenstow with $58. He says, I like what the other chat person did, $1 for how many years in his life on Planet Earth. So 58 it is until August. Great show as usual. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you.
Russ Martin, the PC Doctor, contributes $5.
So again, Thomas has Little Red, right? That I'm very jealous that you and I built. Little Red, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've got another one to build.
Yeah, man,
we're going to build another one. I've got all the parts.
You got the that same case?
Yeah,
another one?
I have one more left.
No, I got too many computers at home. No.
Russ wants to know, are you okay to look at your email? I can't now. So send a picture of an old white 4-foot tower relic to share with the community. Yeah, I can't do that now, but anybody can Google full-size tower from the 90s or the early 2000s to get an idea of how big a full-size tower can be. Even here on the channel, I did that Cosmos 2 build.
Right.
That thing, like, I already look short, but that thing made me look like a homunculus.
That actually was the first computer I ever built, was in a Cosmo 2.
You built in a Cosmos 2?
With the handles on the top, yeah.
Yeah. And it had the big swing out doors, and those lift up off hinges, just like I talked about earlier, how they all do that.
And I remember, boy, that case costing, I think it was $175.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, or again, something about the handles where I could lift it up onto a cart to get it in the car if I had to take it someplace, but I liked it. It was unique looking. Yeah.
Once I had all the parts in it, I could know.
Right.
I grabbed one handle, and the owner of the computer grabbed the other.
Right.
It took two grown men to lift that.
Okay, so the easy peasy, the power.
AC's drafting with $37. He says, continuing the age with dollars. Cheers. Well, this is an interesting turn.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
We better keep going before the internet.
We better keep going when people get older.
Yeah, so.
We stretch this out.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's going to have a birthday. There's another $1.
Right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it very much.
So what next, Smiley? All right.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay. Feed those in here?
No, just hold on. No, for We've got these hard drive sleds. There's 3 of them. This really bothers me because it takes screws. This should all be toolless, in my opinion.
Toothless? No, toolless.
Toolless.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. Like, they sell this as though this is some kind of feature. Look how easy the drive slide in and out if you just use these proprietary drive sleds. But the drive slide in and out real easy with just a catch on the side like the Corsair 200R offers on the 3.5-inch drive installation, making this just an additional part that can be lost or damaged. And of course, they've got 4 holes here for a 2.5-inch drive, so you can always use these for 2.5-inch drives as well. And then on this one, we've got this box that contains all the hardware for everything, for mounting all the hardware. But I expect these kind of things in like a network attached storage device, something like that. And it does look like the hard drive cage
is removable.
Looks like it's on a slider, maybe. It slides forward and backward to give us more room between the power supply. Probably comes out all together. Not using any of those today. Oh, we got another fan up here. So there's 3 fans, 1, 2, and 3. This makes no sense to me. Anytime I see fans mounted at the bottom of a case, first of all, there are none, but I've seen some builds where people are putting fans on the bottom. That is a complete waste of time and a waste of money. You want your airflow moving in one direction, preferably from the front and then out the back. If it's not going out the back, it needs to go out the back top, but not both.
Can we move the one from top to the front?
Well, furthermore, I think we're going to take those fans out altogether and maybe
do the RGB, the Liqmax 3, okay, yeah.
Oh, or maybe it doesn't really look like there's any room to put a radiator up on the top. It looks like it has to go on the front.
Okay.
But because of the glass, we'll be able to see the RGB on the cooler vertically.
Right.
So I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. So let's see what's in the box. Brian Loss contributes $44. He says, guess how old I am?
Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, Brian, that's cool.
29. That's what I'm guessing. All right.
Frank M says, I would purchase a Carrie t-shirt. I still haven't gotten back to that because of how slammed I got. But
I'm reminding him, Chad.
yeah, Mitch has been on me about it, and
well, let's get them in and get them out rawhide.
I'm getting close.
Yep.
I'm getting close to, boy, I'll tell you what. Sometimes, like, I'll say to somebody, hey, I'll build a computer for you, like Luke Greeny, for example. But you have to understand, when I say that, it's probably not going to happen tomorrow. You need maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And with the t-shirts, I wanted to do that on the 1st of March to get those ordered. We're going to be at April Fool's Day tomorrow, and I still haven't done anything with them. But I haven't forgotten. It's on my to-do list, but I really want you to understand it's just me. And with the exception of having Mitch come here once a week to join me live on camera, I'm working all by myself to do everything. So it's not a thing where you go, oh, poor Carrie. It's just that understand that there's only so many hours in a day, and I have to prioritize certain jobs. But it is important to me. I want to get them done. Besides, I need some more of these. I'm wearing this one out.
And of course, we got a very special day coming up here in a few short days for you science fiction nerds. May the 4th.
Yeah, you know, the new Star Wars series, the animated series called oh man, there's a new animated series. They've got 10 different spin-offs coming from Disney on Star Wars for TV. And it's about a rogue team of the stormtroopers. Oh, somebody in the chat's going to tell me. That starts May 4th. So I'm looking forward to it, because those have been very adult in their, they're still for kids, but they're, you know, often deal with some pretty serious issues and stuff. And
Eugene says, love the shirt, Mitch. Well, I had to represent, because both Carrie and I are from
That's right, it says live from Detroit.
Detroit. So, and this actually came with a Blu-ray of this show from Pine Knob Theater. It's not called that anymore, but that's, I worked there for 3 summers, where saw everyone from America to ZZ Top and everyone in between, Bob Seger and the Beach Boys in Chicago's Pine Knob Music Theater.
At Pine Knob.
In Clarkston. I don't know whether it's still called DTS something or other, but Def Leppard, Peter Frampton did a show there that's on Blu-ray.
The Bad Batch, sorry, that was the name of the Star Wars thing. That's from Swamp Yak. Yeah, thank you. Gosh, I was never going to come up with that. So you saw a lot of concerts. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, a lot, which probably contributed to my tinnitus. I never know how to pronounce that, but luckily, I'm lucky that it's not permanent. It doesn't come and go. My motorcycle is extremely loud, but I do wear earplugs or listen to music when I ride, and so I'm very careful about that, because the bike is not obscenely loud, but you could hear me coming down the block. So it is loud, and I plan on riding tomorrow morning with a couple of people while the weather's cool.
These screws right here have a small shoulder and a rubber grommet. That's for mounting the 3.5-inch drives. Okay. This is why I don't like these drive sleds. They often require proprietary screws and washers like this, where again, the Corsair 200R, you just slide the drive in, no tools required. And if you want to secure it with a screw, it's a standard shallow coarse threaded screw. Okay. So that upsets me, but that is what it is. These longer screws are for front case fans, essentially, is when they're typically used. Elko in the chat says you can, in fact, fit a radiator at the top. But I'm starting to wonder if it still might look better vertically. I see a large amount of depth in the front of the case.
Right, and when you look in the glass, you'd be able to see it.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that. But
versus up top. But
the top is always
when we take it out, we'll see. Yeah.
Here's the thing. So the top mounting of the radiator is better technically, but the front mounting is better visually or aesthetically. Either way, it won't make much difference in the cooling. People freak out over 3 degrees Celsius, which is preposterous, in my opinion.
And then didn't Catherine say there is a mesh? You can get a mesh front with mesh, then the lights.
It's already mesh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already got.
Oh yeah.
It's got its own RGB on the front of the case.
So
that's already built into the case.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about plenty of RGB on the front. You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I really wasn't looking forward to doing this build. However, yeah, there's going to be plenty of RGB up in the front. Red Dragon with $5. He says, here's just a little to help out. Hello to all. CCTV user with £5 says, Mitch, are you getting a sidecar for Carrie?
You know, to be honest, I've always wanted to own a motorcycle with the sidecar. I don't. They just look. Yeah, they look goofy and whatever. But no, I like my 2014 Suzuki MR109 and my Bumblebee and yeah.
Tim Too Much with a $25 contribution. He says, this is my first time giving anyone on YouTube money. I really enjoy your content and hanging out. Hey,
what a guy, what a guy.
I appreciate that. Let's see those scissors again, please.
Scissors.
So this is the bag of screws that we're going to need for like mounting the motherboard or any other additional hardware. I want to go ahead and get the board installed. This board is the Gigabyte Z390 Gaming X. We're going to be using onboard video for this build because of the GPU shortage. I do have GPUs laying around. However, I'm not real comfortable selling them to anybody right now because I have to sell them for market price, which is unfortunate. I've got a couple 2070s here. I've got a 2080 Ti. I've got a 2080 Ti lower style. I've got, I think, two 1650s, a 1660, a 1080. So, I mean, I'm not swimming in GPUs, but when they're gone, they're gone.
So you want to hang on to them.
If somebody wants to, buy a computer from me with a GPU, I will sell them one at market price, but I'm not just selling.
No.
If somebody says, hey, will you just sell me the GPU? No, I won't do that.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a GPU today.
If it's somebody I know personally, that's different. But for some stranger on the internet to reach out and say, because I don't know if they're going to damage it or what the potential is there for liabilities. So,
so we're going to have to set this bad boy on its side, yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. So we'll just close the doors on the bottom.
I can on this side unless I feed you the wires.
Just shove the wires in anywhere you can shove them.
You want me to tell you where?
No.
I'm just
Some things
not to be graphic. Okay.
Better left
said. Okay, let me. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
And then just go ahead and lay it straight down. Now we've got, looking at the bottom of the case, big thick feet down here. Look at that. Those are chunky. And we've got a filter that's easily removable. Easily removable. Oh, you know what? That hard drive cage does not. I don't see any.
It's riveted in.
It does appear to be riveted in. Did you notice that before?
I see everything.
Which is all-seeing and all-knowing.
I'm the man of wisdom, remember?
I wonder what all these. Oh no, there's a bunch of holes right here. That's got to be for the hard drive. So instead of putting a slot, it looks like they put a ton of little threaded holes here to move the hard drive cage about half an inch at a time. Weird. And it goes underneath the foot. The foot's even got a little cutout. Interesting.
And I did count 1, 2, 3, because I know how to count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 standoffs.
Well, let's see mounting point that Gigabyte likes to use here on the edge.
Okay.
Let me take a look inside.
Yeah. Again, folks, we wish we could use the close-up cam, but it seems to affect the hotspot.
We're not on the hotspot.
No. Oh, okay.
Well, we do have two CPU power connectors. We have a 4-pin and an 8-pin, and this power supply does give us those, so that's nice. though we don't have to use the 4-pin. It's there for overclocking stability if you're not overclocking. And it's of little concern.
Wait a minute, I got a cable here.
That's okay, don't worry. I'm just dry fitting this. Yeah, guess what?
You need one of your doodads?
Yeah. Once again, here's another case manufacturer that does not honor that mounting point location that Gigabyte stubbornly insists on putting on a lot of their motherboards. I think Gigabyte confuses novice builders by doing this. It's completely unnecessary.
You do have them in here, don't you?
And if you don't have like I'm going to put a plastic standoff in there, but if you don't have a mounting point for that, then you're going to just leave it empty. It's not important to put these little plastic standoffs on. I use these because I left over from the builds I used to do in the 90s, and making enough noise. Take a look at the standoff in your hand. What am I going to cut off on that one?
This thing.
Then what would I stick in the motherboard?
Oh, okay.
Sometimes these little plastic standoffs are built. Can you hand me another one? Just any random one in there will probably have the nub on the end that you thought was going to need to be cut off. Initially, back in the 90s when we installed motherboards, we used these plastic standoffs and maybe 2 screws entirely, that's all, held a full-size AT motherboard in place. Not ATX, AT. So AT style boards use these little plastic standoffs. But more of the modern plastic standoffs were used where they didn't have the little nub on the end. It's sort of a flat top, like what you get in you ever get Pizza Hut? They have that little plastic thing that keeps the box from. So anyway, the ones in the bag are a mixture of the ones designed with the nub cut off or never put on. And these are, I keep calling them plastic, but they're nylon. AC's Drafting contributes $20. He says, Kerry, I sent a couple of pics of the woodwork that my other half's dad does. Hope you enjoy.
Nice.
Well, we'll check those out after the show. Thanks, thanks, AC. What I'm going to do, as with many of the other Gigabyte boards, this hole is just not honored as a mounting point on any case I've ever seen, except for the cases Gigabyte makes. Most of you will just leave that hole empty. Don't worry about it. Well, it's important that we don't have any standoffs where there are not mounting holes. It's okay if you have mounting holes where there are no standoffs. In this case, these nylon standoffs are something you can buy on Amazon. You can't just buy one. You got to buy like 50 of them. And it's completely not important. So you can just feel free to leave that empty. But when you're mounting the motherboard into the case, you want to make sure that you have the same number of standoffs as holes on the board, because you won't be able to see a standoff where there's no mounting hole. And if the standoff, which is metal, starts hitting other metal on the back of the board, you can completely fry your brand new build. This is a very simple thing for you guys to check when you're building. And at the very least, you can just count them out. So for example, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mounting points. And if we look at the standoffs in this case, which I can't really show you,
three up top,
1, 2,
3 in the middle. 9.
Yeah, and then so these other pitches looking at, you counted out 9. Those standoffs are going to be somewhere right around here. And so that's wider than the board. They won't touch the board. So we're just going to leave those be.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and set this in place. I'll tell you what we need to do, though. Let's go ahead and put it back on its feet for a moment, please. And let's take this top fan out, because it's in the way. See if Mitch has longer fingernails than I do. Thank you.
You know, I took my fingernails off before the show. I'm just saying.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So, very, very nice.
Now, these are not RGB fans. Even though it's an RGB case, for some reason, Lian Li does not give you RGB fans. They're just 3-pin fans. They're look like pretty inexpensive fans. Was that a 120 millimeter fan? Yeah, it's a 120 millimeter fan. So we'll just set that somewhere, anywhere really. And let's go ahead and take this rear fan out too, just to make our install a little easier. I'm in a fan removal mood. You'll see there's these long grooves, and this enables you to raise and lower the fan to adjust it accordingly, as you can see there. Or anywhere in between this. There's that one. And the screw I dropped. Okay.
Just to let you know, as an actor, I need all the fans I can get.
Now, something that Lian Li's doing here I don't care for. They put the fan in so you can read the label right side up on the front there. When that means that the power cable for the fan is coming out of the top instead of coming out at the bottom, and all the fan cables are going to run down. In fact, every cable is always going to run down. So why would you start a cable at the top instead of rotating that fan 180 degrees? My guess is they wanted that label to face upwards, which is nobody's going to see it. Makes no sense to me. I'm taking it out. I was thinking I was going to be able to twist this fan to get it out, but we're going to take the front bezel off, which is fine. I was kind of curious what's hiding behind it. And I think oh, this looks really nice. It looks like this front piece comes out for mounting the radiator outside of the case, which would make it a lot easier to install. But I'm just kind of curious if this just, oh yeah, that was super easy. So this is your front bezel, and as you can see, it's got, well, we got some tape in here holding on. Oh, very interesting. There's little magnetic filters here. Look at that. Can you see if you can pull the tape off of there? And these little push pins down here, these are electrical connections that are going to light up the left and right side of where the mesh is on the front of this case. And this enables you to remove the bezel without being tethered by a cable, which is what a lot of cases do. And you can see this tray right here has thumb screws, and this can come out so we can mount the radiator. They really want you to, but it's very clear to me that Lian Li's intention in this design is to have this radiator front mounted on a liquid cooler, because the top of it, well, I'm sure, you know, what they said in the chat is true. It's definitely not designed for a radiator in the same way that the front is. So if we take a look, you'll see we have the metal contacts right down here, and then that wires up the RGB that exists here and here, and then these are intake filters, intake air filters that are attached magnetically, so they're easy to remove.
They go under
the thinnest ones I've ever seen before. You'd think it'd be cheaper to just put one big one there, but that's how they decided to do it. That's very unique. And then it's got quite some weight to it. It's kind of heavy. The Lian Li logo down at the bottom. Yeah, we'll just set this over here for now. We'll come back to that. Right here. And then taking a look at this this piece has got me intrigued because, remember guys, I do everything live, it's all unscripted, and I try to do as little prep as possible so I can kind of react to things and try and figure things out on my own. That's my form of gaming. And it looks like, I'm just looking to see if there's another screw. I see a thumb screw here. And then if we spin this, should be another one on the other side. So with those 2 thumb screws removed, the whole cage comes out.
Okay.
And what holds it in at the bottom, there's some hinges or these little nubs stick out, and it slides into a groove here. It's pretty interesting. Did it go in that? Yeah, so then there's a higher groove. Why is there the top? Oh, look at that. So there's nubs up here too that will slide in. But apparently, so I'm trying to wonder what this, I'm wondering why those are there if it won't line up that way. Unless that's for the other front, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what this has to do with the front. That's obviously where it wants to go. So mounting the radiator in here should be really easy. So I'm going to set this aside for now, and we can go back to putting the motherboard in. Now the case is ready for us to do whatever we need to do. So we're going to go ahead and lay that flat again, if you would, please.
Ooh, it's much lighter now. Okay.
Hold on a second. Will you pick that back up one more time? Wrong way around. I want to see if it goes the other way. I can't remember which way I took it out now. It looks like it'll go in either way. I see there's 2 holes for mounting here, but if we turn it around. Oh. But if you put it in that way, then what happens if I put it down here? Wasn't that interesting? So if you want to turn it around, you use the bottom slots. Yeah. And if we want to flip it the other way, then we use the top one. Look at that. Very useful information. Thank you to, who said that? Elko. Thank you, Elko. We're going to turn Elko blue. You know how to turn Elko blue? If you use the mouse and just put it right over there to the right, click the mouse one time to make it active, and then you'll see the 3 dots. Yeah, click once, and then add moderator. Ooh, it's got to be a left click, not a right click.
Okay. Did I make it? No.
I don't know. See if it says add or remove next time. So back 3 dots.
Left click.
Yeah, so you got them.
Yeah.
It's blue.
So cool. Installing.
Yeah, that's interesting though. I wonder, because it certainly seems to be what that's for, is you can turn this the other way, and then it lines up perfectly, and the screw holes still line up because obviously it shifts a little bit. So that seems to be very well thought out on behalf of Lian Li to do that. Very interesting. Yeah. I like that. Okay.
Set it down again.
Yes, please.
No, it's much lighter. Yeah, there we go.
And then go ahead and spin it so we can see the back of it.
This way? Yeah.
Yep. Now let's see if we can get this mounted in here without any troubles. Well, that's easy. Can you hand me my glasses? Elko says, check the manual. You can place the fan tray more forward. I think I'm pretty happy with what I've figured out there. Nothing more exciting than watching somebody read a manual during a live video. It seems to be the wrong thread, doesn't it? Usually when I install motherboards into the cases, more times than not, they require the coarse threaded screws. And either the motherboard isn't aligned straight or we're not using the coarse thread. Quick look at one of these open standoffs just to see. Rats. Let me try one of these instead. These are the fine threaded screws like you'd see, like you would use on a DVD drive. Yeah, and that locks down. Can you tilt this? Let's just tilt this back. That other one just slid underneath the motherboard. Did you see it at all? Mm-mm. Okay, let me come over to where you are. It didn't go in that far, so I can't imagine why it's. All right, I'm not going to worry about it right now. Don't let me forget, though. We don't want to turn the machine on until we have that missing screw. But I want to secure the board first before we go shaking the case. We'll have this up on its feet in a minute. You guys can see what I'm doing, but
Talk amongst yourselves.
yeah, just for a moment. Just doing a final torque down on the 6 screws. Thank you, Mitch. And we'll put this back on its feet. See where that, oh, I hear it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's down underneath here.
There it is.
Yep.
Accounted for.
Thank you. Oh, I can see now. This hard drive tray is pretty interesting. There's a thumb screw here. And when you take the thumb screw out, oh, maybe there's one on the other side. No. It does slide, and then there are multiple points that you can.
Okay.
So I want to move it away from the power supply so we have more room for our cables.
Okay.
And I think right about there, so the second position from the last.
Okay.
Although we're not putting any mechanical drives in this, I just want to keep it in there for whoever gets this computer may want to add mechanical drives, and I don't want to take it out. You can, of course, remove it. So these are the cables that are going to the RGB, and that's a motherboard header.
Okay.
So the RGB can either just kind of go on and off on its own, or you can plug it into your motherboard and use your motherboard's RGB software to control both the lighting on the board and this front lighting, so it's all in sync. And that's what it looks like with the motherboard installed in there.
Now you're going to need at least CPU power and power supply power.
Samuel Ramos says that case looks like it's solid. Oh, it's very solid and it's heavy. Like I said, for $100, that's a good deal. I didn't see it at Amazon for 100, but I did find it at Newegg, I think, and B&H Photo, I think, had it. But I don't have affiliate links for them. Versions of this case, a performance version that has the mesh front.
Okay.
Although this front is mesh as well, but just on the sides. They have another one that's just all mesh.
Okay.
I'm just looking back through the chat to see. Would Mitch's fans blow or suck? That's a good question. One I don't necessarily need to know the answer to. Greg Guy says, hello, Carrie and Mitch, and all in the chat. In Maryland.
And while Carrie's looking, spike the likes. We always say that at the end, but you know.
Spike the likes.
Spike the likes.
I've never heard that.
Yes. It's an old saying that I just made up. Spike the likes.
Is that because you're old?
Yeah. Ah, there we go. No, the other way. Oh, this way.
I had a subscribe one. Where did that go? Oh, there it is.
There you go. I almost timed it right. Hit that bell icon. So you know the next time. Well, Carrie and I you can always count on Friday at ones. Ones? One is not plural. Ones.
One is definitely not plural.
Plural, yeah.
Some guy over 40 says, that's his name, some guy over 40.
Okay.
Hello, Carrie and Mitch. Love the show. Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah. But one is the loneliest number. Three Dog Night. Remember that song?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Am I aging myself?
Ed's mentioning the audio is a bit shrill. I did mention at the beginning of the show we're still working on improving the audio. What I did was, so the audio had been really low, you know, compared to other YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But by amplifying the audio, it also amplifies all of the artifacting and things. So I still have more refinement to do.
Yeah.
It's in a process.
Yeah.
This is the first time with these new audio settings.
Yeah.
And then when I can hear the show back later.
Yeah, you'll get it dialed.
Yeah, I have to dial it in because I don't have a producer. I don't have an audio engineer. That I can't really do it on the fly. It's just, there's too many settings.
Yep.
And the air conditioner kicking on is adding more noise. Yeah. So I appreciate the feedback, I do. It's helpful.
Yeah.
But you know, you go from one end of the spectrum to the other where when the volume was lower, you didn't pick up all of the background noise. And now we're sort of, by raising the volume, changing the audio into basically HD audio. And now you're hearing all of the flaws and background sounds. And that's with me already setting compression and everything. And there's so many different settings for just the compression alone. There's like 4 different settings. And each setting affects the one next to it. So I have to dial it in.
Yeah.
Chris L says, now that song is stuck in my head.
Oh.
Thanks, Mitch.
Okay. Well, how about Toto Till the End? And go on YouTube and see that music video. There's my plug for my boys. From their biggest fan.
Skunk says, the bar next to the motherboard is movable as well to hide your cables better. Right.
I wish I was at a bar right because it's happy hour. Oh, no, yeah, 3 to 6 is normally happy hour. It's 3:15 here.
Zadravko Frankovic has joined us. He says, hello, how are we? Welcome in, Zadravko. Bruce says, I always knew the volume was low on this channel. No one else seemed to notice. Oh, well, you weren't getting all the emails I was getting, Bruce. Plenty of people seem to notice. Samuel Ramos contributed $10. He says, hello, Kerry and Mitch. Nice to see you two back at it again. Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the support. Let's see what we got. So we don't need any of those yet.
What are you going to do with all those screws? Careful now. Steady.
I'm just going to set them right there for a moment.
Are these normally labeled? These ones aren't. The good ones are normally labeled.
No, there's no labeling on the modular screw, on the modular power cables. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been in business long enough I can tell by looking at them, but it would be nice for novice builders to know. But essentially, if the plug fits, you have it in the right place.
Well, these are all for like SSDs and stuff. You've got on the actual semi-modular, you've got the ones you need.
The motherboard ones,
So what did I open these for?
I don't know why you did that.
Would you make me open this one?
Well, don't put them back in the bag.
Oh, okay.
Just leave them out.
Okay. 3D.
All right, let's see what we can do here. I guess I need a screwdriver again.
Big red?
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and take these panels off that are intended to hide cabling. Ugh, yeah. Let's, put that on there. So just one screw here. Oh, and there's more behind it. Isn't that lovely? Okay, let's put the screw here, please. What is this here for?
Another one.
I wonder why they put that there.
Not another one.
Interesting. Thank you. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I don't care what people say about you.
Mostly a scholar. Okay.
All right, these are our two 8-pin power cables. I'm going to feed that one over. Wait. It's all curled up. Let's straighten it out. We'll go like that, and then there.
Okay. What do I, and can I pull it through a little bit?
Yeah.
Have I got enough slack? Yeah.
Do you want to plug it in?
No. I just want to go.
Yeah, well, we do that at home.
I'm wearing my short eyeballs, so I can't see, like you, I can't see it.
I don't know if anybody's...
You want to break my wrist, just for fun? Yeah.
I thought you were double jointed.
Yeah, I'm left-handed. Is that 8? That's 8. So does the clip go down like that?
Typically, the clips on these connectors on most motherboards go to the board. It's mostly the clip faces the edge, so that you've got to turn the cable. You got to flip the cable, so when you
Flip it?
well, just right here on this, you see the way the cable is?
Yeah.
You've got to turn it that way. See, so the clip is at the top, and then you're going to align it. You want to go ahead and push that on? Just push it on, you should hear a click, and then kind of pull on it a little, see if it pops off. If it doesn't pop off by pulling on it, then you've installed it correctly.
I hope.
Now this other one, and thankfully they've given us two, just in case, if somebody would want to overclock this was going to add more stability for when you change or alter the voltage to the chip, which I do not recommend you do, but, people are going to do what they're going to do. It's their money, so.
It's America. Freedom of choice.
It's America.
It's America.
America.
All right.
Go ahead and take that one for me, would you?
Almost poked my eye. All right.
You got glasses. You got safety glasses on. So this one we have to, it's two 4-pins connected, and we have to split it by lifting up one. Typically that's how it's done. One lifts up. They're tight. There it goes. And then we'll use like a zip tie or something, tie the other one back. And again, this one's optional. I want to emphasize this is optional for overclockers.
You can see it?
No, but I know where it is. Where it was. Turns out that wasn't it at all. Thank you, Aziz. I'm going to look back at these videos and say, oh, look, I still had hair on the back of my head. People and the viewers are like, no, you don't.
I'll give you a gift certificate to Bosley.
Is that place still in business?
Oh, yeah. I'm not only a member, I'm the president. No.
Now you're aging yourself.
Okay, yeah.
Now that was interesting because this one wouldn't go on, but the other one did. So I've never seen them keyed like that before. Very interesting, Mitchell.
Now you need the 24 pin, so where should I feed it through?
Right here. Look at this.
Now that one you've done a million times. I heard it click.
Yep.
Or is that the marbles in your head?
That was my knuckles.
Okay.
And my back and my hips. Can't sneak up on anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Now these are our front port umbilical cables here, which is nice to give you a little Velcro.
Oh. Yeah, you're gonna need light to put those on.
Well, I'm not gonna put those on yet.
Oh.
I think I wanna kind of work on this cooler.
Ah. Liqmax? I don't want to talk dirty. Liqmax. Liqmax.
Telling me what to do?
Liqmax 3, RGB version.
Is that a model number or a request?
Little of both. All right. Can I open it? Huh? Can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Just like Christmas. All right.
So these are the cables for the USB sound RGB header here. So audio, front port switches, USB 3. This is a SATA power cable to light up, to give power to the LEDs up front. Richard Mouton says that he thinks this case is slightly over-engineered. I would agree with that. I would agree. Not necessarily in a bad way, though. But it definitely is going to take a little bit more time to build in this case. But it's a lot easier to have a nice-looking build when you're done with all those covers, making less pressure on making your cable management look nice.
Now, do you want to open it and show the people?
Yes, please.
You're all set.
Let's see what we got here. So this is the Enermax Liqmax 3 RGB version.
And that's a 240, right? Two 120s? Yeah.
I believe that's what it is.
You taught me math. What is that? Okay, what do we got in there? We got
some
documentation.
directions.
That'll go with that. That. We have a box. Ooh.
And some plastic on the top. That's weird. Of course, we're going to have plastic down here to keep this clean. Yep. Very important you remove this before you put thermal compound and secure it down. And there's no brackets on this at all, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes together. Let me just hand that to you. These are our two fans. You can tell these are RGB because of their white, sort of see-through. You can see that design on the blades.
Actually, this is quite light. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's not that big Monster Beast 360 that we did last time. There's a matching fan.
Okay.
And these fans are going to have a power cable and then the ARGB connectors, which are serial. You plug one in and then another into it, like Christmas lights of the olden days. Finally, we've got our mounting hardware and some thermal compound. And this is supposed to work with AMDs and Intels. And of course, the packet of silica gel.
And that's nice that that frame came off to where we can kind of, in theory, install it on the frame and then boom.
Exactly. And I shouldn't need any of these mounting hardware screws that came with the case. I don't think we need it for the rest of the build.
You want me to get you a zip lock?
Well, I thought there was a zip lock they came out of.
Yeah, I might have.
It was a small one, I thought, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Because it happened, you know.
No, it's
20
right
minutes
here.
ago. Ugh. Was it in a bag that big?
Good enough. I mean,
I'll tell you what. We'll put those in there, and these also go with the case. That probably was how it was packed up. Thank you. Wow, we have a lot. Just put that one back. Little thing of thermal compound in there.
okay.
Screws, brackets, back plate. Looks like some kind of an RGB extension. Looks like an alternative power source for something. Fan splitter. I think this is for socket 2011s. I don't think we're going to use that. All right. Well, this is definitely one I will have to read the instructions for because there's a lot to this. Now, I will say this is a very aggressively priced cooler. I think these are.
Did you say 80 bucks?
Was it $80?
I thought you said 80 bucks.
I mean, that's like one of those nok choy air coolers costs 80 bucks. So you're getting a full liquid cooler with 2 fans for 80 bucks. That's a really good deal.
Yeah.
And it's 220 millimeter fans for a total length of 240 millimeters. Make sure your case can support that. I think this case would support a 360 based on it, so it'll fit anything less, 360 or less will fit in there. So the 240s, the 280s, the 360s, the 120s, they would all fit in there. The bigger the radiator is, the better it's gonna cool. However, your system doesn't run any faster just because it's cooler. It's really more of an issue of reducing noise by having it, by being liquid cooled. And if you're gonna overclock it and run it beyond the engineering design specifications, it generates more heat than it's supposed to. And then you need a much better than stock cooler to stave that heat off.
It does run faster with the Go Faster sticker, doesn't it?
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Not true. Blackwatch contributes $2 Canadian, says, I'm watching today from the space station.
Well, good.
So Drafco says, how did you decide on that cooling? Well, you know, when you're building 30, 40 computers in a couple of months like I do, manufacturers will often send you items. And when, for example, a gentleman named Ryan, a viewer, sent me this case, said, I'd like to see a build in this case. Here, have it. And I put it in the garage.
That was back last May.
Yeah, and then Enermax reaches out and says, would you like to test some of our coolers and power supplies? I said, sure, send them along, right? Then I realized, well, geez, I practically have a computer. I've got 3 of the components. I've got the case, I've got the cooler, I've got the power supply. I just need a motherboard, RAM, CPU, and storage. And now I can build this for the parts I have been sent that I said I would review. And I think the best way to review parts is to actually use them. And so that's how that decision was made. Yeah, it was a good excuse to use this cooler. Not every case I've got will accept a liquid cooler. And not every case I've got, I'm gonna put in a chip hot enough to even justify a liquid cooler. So if this was an i5 or something, it wouldn't make any sense to put a liquid cooler on an i5. I guess unless you're gonna overclock it, but for all that money you're spending to keep it cool, you could have just bought a faster i7 or an i9. So that's sort of the logic involved in that. I appreciate the question. It's a fair question to ask. It wasn't as though I specifically set out to use these parts, but they were given to me and it's sort of like, okay, now do something. Think of it like, was it MasterChef? And they go, open your crate and these are the ingredients you've got to work with today. What are you gonna make? And that's how that kind of happens. It's circumstantial.
Yep.
I'm gonna step away for just a moment, and if you guys have questions for Mitch, I'm gonna put him on the spot.
Okay.
I wanna clean some of this up.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, Chad, I
mute
think
myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Chad, I think tomorrow myself and a couple of friends of mine, we're going to ride to, I think Florence, Arizona, and then kind of do a loop. And for some of you movie buffs might remember, there was a movie with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor called Stir Crazy that they actually filmed in Florence at the state prison there. So we actually drive just past that, the prison, and I guess they mentioned something about there's a very nice Mexican restaurant where we'll stop for a bite of lunch, and then I hope to be home by 1 or 2 o'clock at the most, because it's heating up. I mean, yeah, riding that bike yesterday at 3 in the afternoon. Luckily, where I was getting the oil changed was the gentleman who sold me the bike, because I told him in 2 years I'm done riding, so he wants to maintain it because he wants it back. He wants me to sell it back to him. So luckily, it was only 5 minutes from where I live, because that, wearing a full-faced helmet at 3 in the afternoon yesterday when the temp was 90, was a bit much. So after he did the oil change, I thought I would maybe do a loop myself, but I pulled out of his garage and I just went, yeah, it's a little too hot. Really Africa hot. Like my band Toto. So there's another plug for the boys. All right, so yeah, so it'll be a good ride. Probably leave at, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. So that'll be, weather will be nice, tolerable. So yeah, I don't think I'll put in my earplugs. I think I'll put in music. And then I do have a Garmin on my bike too, so I can never get lost. And yeah, so that's very exciting. And then I think I told Carrie at the end of May, I have to go to Colorado for a couple of weeks, because I have a nephew graduating high school, I think May 29th, they told me. And so then I'll stay with my one of my brothers in Eagle, Colorado for a couple of weeks and get out of this Phoenix heat. And then I'll come back, and we'll see, fingers crossed, whether in July international travel opens up. I don't know whether July, but I'm hopeful that by August it will, and then it's bye-bye Uncle Mitch for at least a couple of months while I go out and have fun out in the big wide world on my travels. So that's in English, so there's plenty of pictures, just so.
Yeah, I see a lot of pictures here. Attach the radiator to the chassis. Okay. Install the Intel clip to the pump. I'll show folks these instructions here.
Ooh, R. Rodriguez says, I have a Triumph America. Nice. I've always wanted to rent an Indian motorcycle, so.
I used to have an Indian motorcycle plant right across from the APS office I used to work for on it's around 19th Avenue in Peoria.
They're cool looking bikes, yeah.
Okay, so one of these is supposed to be for Intel, but how do you know?
Doesn't say on it, does it?
That's what I'm looking for, any sort of indication?
Nope.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing.
So the directions will specify.
Take a look, Carrie. Tony Wallow again. Tony.
Holy smokes, Tony.
I'm speechless.
Thank you, my friend. Sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. So the AMD clip has 2 holes in it. See how there's There's just 2 holes on the edge.
So that's AMD.
That's AMD.
So set that aside, okay.
So the Intel ones have 3 holes, which we've seen on all the other Intel adapters. If it'll focus, maybe right there. There's like, it's an elongated hole and it's got 3 positions, top, middle, and bottom, for the 3 different Intel socket types. And it wants us to put these on to the water block. With these facing, let's take a look here. Like this, facing down. And then we're going to utilize, will you hold that for me?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yep.
Somewhere in here we've got some screws. Oh, there's 4 screws. Oh wait, that's 5. Which screws did we use to secure that? Just called it a bracket screw. I think they just give you an extra one.
Okay.
Let's see if it threads right. This is a very coarse screw, unless it's in here. No, the heads on those screws are too big.
Can you use Big Red, or do you need the number 1 screwdriver? What do you?
Big Red ought to be fine.
And you can try it.
See what happens. We'll go gentle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Surprised they go in that far.
Shazam.
And then we'll do the other side. I'm going to torque those down with a handheld driver. Really should not be using an electric driver for this because they do seem a little easy to
Which you got it set on number 3. So.
yeah, the torque on this is pretty low, but they seem easy to cross thread. So will you trade me just for the, I don't know, whatever you got. That black one ought to be fine. You know what, it's not, I need the yellow one.
The other one. Red.
You're holding it. Thank you. You hold that for me, the radiator for me. Okay, so that bracket is on. Let's see, what's the next step here? Step 3, insert the position screws into the proper holes of the backplate. So they're referring to these really screws here that have that, there's a flush head on the end of them. They're calling these position screws.
Okay.
If you would hand me the scissors, we'll top this out. Bag. This contains all of the standoffs that you would use on an LGA 2011 or 2066 build, which we're not doing, so I'll stick that with the AMD stuff. Anytime I can remove some parts here from this area, makes it a little less overwhelming, you know, to work with what's at hand. So these are what they're calling the position screws. And I know from experience that we're going to go through the center hole for socket 1151 and socket 1200. My question is, do we go this way or do we go this way? It's always, one side says AMD, one side says Intel. And I'm never quite sure if the Intel is supposed to be seen or if it's the other way. This is a puzzle. Let's take a look here. See if they show that detail. They're showing the word Intel. They're showing the word Intel facing me, with then the screws going up through it like this.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how they're showing it. Then this will rotate until it sort of countersinks in there.
Okay.
And then there's probably a little rubber washer. Yep. This is familiar to me. We'll put that on. And that should hold it. Once it gets to that shoulder part of the screw, there's a lot of friction that then holds that in place. So when we install this, the word AMD is going to show.
Okay.
I've always thought that was confusing, but I'm not quite sure doing it the other way would be any less confusing.
At least the manual showed you what you needed to do.
It did. They did have that detail, but it'd be nice if they emphasized it. I'm not quite sure how many people would know to look for that. Right? I mean, if you don't know to look for that detail, you could easily put the screws in backwards and then have this whole piece short out against the back of your board. Or it may not, for all I know, may not even fit correctly. I'm not sure. And we're just going to go, again, through the middle position here and rotate the screw until it kind of sinks down. It's fighting me. That one doesn't want to countersink. Wonder why. Well, I'll do the best I can with it. It does appear they've given us an extra screw and an extra washer, so they seem to be one of those companies that does that. It throws me off sometimes because sometimes to determine the right screw to use, you just count how many you need. Obviously, if you don't have enough, it can't possibly be that one, right? But when they give you one extra, you need 4, you get 5. With these washers, they've given us 5 washers, but we only need 4. It's nice to get the extras, but it'd be nice to have some reassurance that you didn't leave out any parts. But now that should just slide. I guess it doesn't matter if it goes in this way or this way from the looks of things.
You're through now.
Yeah, and you can see it's got the cutouts there for those 2 screws holding the CPU socket in place.
Okay.
And the third one down there. And I did drop one of the little standoffs down here, which I want to pick up before I forget about it. What am I missing in the chat room, Mitch?
Winston Liu from Vancouver, Canada. Good day, English. Guten Tag, German. And bonjour, French. Very nice. Thank you, Winston. And while Carrie's looking for that, any of you guys and gals in chat that do ride motorcycles, Uncle Mitch has a question for you. Have you ever ridden with a motorcycle backpack? Because even though my bike has saddle bags, they're pretty big and it changes the look of the bike. So I have been researching Kriega. I think that's a company that makes motorcycle backpacks. The Kriega R20, which is a 20-liter backpack. They do make bigger ones, 30, 35, 40, but those are, enormous bags, and I just want kind of an everyday carry that would fit a little laptop.
Hey, I'm an everyday carry.
So I'm just curious if any of the motorcycle riders there in chat have ridden with a backpack. Is it, kerflumpy, or does it floppy around?
Floppy
whatever.
or kerflunky?
Or kerflumpy.
Flumpy.
I'm using big words.
Well, I'm not sure they're words, Mitch, but we'll go with it.
And Paul O'Brien contributes £5 for Toto Mitch,
All
the
right.
Wizard of Oz, and the man, the legend, that is Carrie Holzman. Well, thank you, Paul O'Brien.
install the back plate on the back of the motherboard, and fix the back plate with the standoff.
Okay.
So they're calling these little spacers
standoffs,
which I'm guessing means they're going to grab on and hold that back plate down.
So you want to spin that, yep.
Yeah. So do me a favor, push that back plate in for me.
You got it, yep.
And then I'll see if these lock down. They don't lock down.
Blackwatch says, don't do it, Mitch, it's a pain riding with a backpack. Okay, there's one. No, let me push that with my finger. There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
That definitely
That helped.
had some resistance.
Which one are you now?
I'm in the bottom, going to the opposite corner.
Gotcha.
Oh, much better. Okay.
4 hands are better
So
than 2.
it looks like
Now where are you?
there's no resistance this way, but if I turn it
Okay.
and go the other side, then you can feel it.
Okay.
And it really grabs on there. Isn't it amazing? Every time I put these on, I'm putting them on the exact wrong way. What a big difference. Okay.
Wrong way Holzman. That's your nickname.
I'm telling you. Oh, there you're good.
Okay.
So that holds it in place. That's a nice
Okay.
touch so that you don't need
Right.
4 hands to do this.
Okay.
You need something to drink? You want to?
I'm
I got
gonna-
Blue
yeah.
Moon in there.
Lemonade. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool lemonade.
We'll call it lemonade.
What else are they saying about don't ride with a motorcycle backpack? All right.
Demi K says, hello, Carrie, Mitch, and everyone in the chat. Mitch, check out Ghost Rider. Might not be your thing. He's crazy.
Nicolas Cage movie? Was that the? Yeah.
Matthew Groff says he had his first COVID shot last week, and the only side effect was soreness at the injection site, just like any other. He always gets it with any shot. You got your shots, didn't you, Mitch? Rabies, distemper, parvo,
Pfizer, yeah.
Johnson & Johnson,
Captain Jack and
Captain Jack.
and
I know there was
Grey Goose.
There was a
2
fifth
shots.
little screw. I don't know what I did with it. Can't find it now. It was extra, but I was just going to put the extra stuff in a different bag.
Oh, it'll turn up.
Yeah, I'll probably walk around barefoot and find it. Okay, so far, so good. It's a little more manual labor on this install, but, you know, for the price, I mean, you only have to do it once.
And then in 4 years, when the water or the glycol goes bad.
Yeah, well, you know, Enermax did have that problem with the whatever solution they were using for coolant got sludgy. And they got a lot of bad press from that, so I'm sure they won't do it again. But stuff like that's really hard to recover from, you know, when the public gets the impression that that the product is not good, to then come back and say, no, it's a good product, now you got to give it another shot. That sometimes can be very difficult to recover from. But we'll find out in this build how it works.
And then you've got to put these fans on that
Well, now we
bracket
got to
that
figure
you
out
put
the
up.
bracket situation here. So when we put this bracket in, as I mentioned, it appears it can go in either way. So if we put it in, let's see, we put it in this top slot. Then we have to decide if we want to put the fans outside or on the inside. So typically the fans on the front are going to push air into the case. Okay. So we want the hoses to be up on top.
But with the fans out front, will the front?
Oh, we're not going to see the RGB on them. Oh, yeah.
Aren't I smart? Okay.
So we would still have the fans bringing air into the case, but we'll turn them so they're going to pull air in instead of push air through.
Because then from here you can see the lights here, right?
Yeah.
It'll pull the air.
And we can see that there does appear to be room if we turn this around, because this is a pretty small radiator for this case. We turn it around and put it up at the top. There is room for it. It's just that the fans are going to hang low, and it's going to get into. It's possibly going to hit the RAM modules.
Yeah.
That's an awfully tight fit, and it's going to make working on the system frustrating if you ever had to swap your RAM out or do anything at the top of the board.
Go with the front.
Yeah, I think the front is definitely the way to go here, but you could make it work, but it's not ideal.
Okay.
Of course, the fans could go on the bottom too, and we could take it. We could do that. Just want to see what that's going to look like. No, you know what? The hoses aren't long enough. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. There's some concern about air bubbles in the system if the hoses are going to be higher on the radiator than they are on the pump. Just want to visualize this.
So Black Watch says I won't look cool if I wear a motorcycle backpack. Well, there's one no, so.
I don't know, what's the chat room thing? Hoses at the top or hoses at the bottom? You think a guy with the name Holzman? Oh, it's holes.
I have a question then for you. Would the pump's in here, right?
Correct.
So would it work harder with the hoses on top or in the bottom?
I don't think it works. It runs at one speed regardless.
So
the concern is if, I'm trying to remember which way it goes, the air rises.
Okay.
And so if you get air, if you get the air bubble staying in the radiator, it doesn't hurt anything. But when the air bubble comes out and goes into the pump, you get pump noise.
Okay. Too much, Tim, too much, definitely top. Okay. Have to be at the top because of air bubbles. Okay. Top for air bubbles is what people are saying.
Martin's getting outnumbered here. He's saying hoses at the bottom. I typically always put the hoses at the top, but I did have that one issue with the
Noise?
a little bit of noise on that that big attack helicopter case.
Yep.
It's got a little bit of a rattly sound coming out of the pump. It's not terrible, but it's just a little annoying. Okay, so if we put this here, then the question is, we'd have to put the fans on this side of the radiator and then secure the radiator from the front. So let me take a quick look at how I'm going to do that. So if the radiator is going in this way, then I want my fan cables to come out this side. So like this. And with the fan rotated in this direction, that should be pulling air in from the front of the case. And yeah, that'll be good. Can I see the scissors, please? And that's what these long screws are for here. It's to go through the fan, and then you just barely want to go into the radiator. That's why those threads are so short. those screws that they're including are a very nice thread fit. They don't want to go in sideways or anything like sometimes you've seen me deal with some of the cheaper stuff, you know. So that's a good sign. And I'm going to have these cables come out together, which means that these logos aren't going to. So that's a question because this is the part we're going to see. So if we want to, we could. Yeah, we'll keep it the same just for keeping my OCD happy. Cables aren't that far apart.
Patrick Russo, Mitch, if your bike has of the seat upwards, put the backpack on that, okay?
All right, so if we're putting that here, let's take a look at where that's gonna go. I want it up, or do I want it in the middle? I don't know. I'll tell you what we can do. Let's go ahead and take this piece out and set it here. See how nicely that lines up? I mean, that's pretty darn cool. Once we get the screws started, we can slide it up and down within those slots. Okay. So if you would, just hold those two together for me. And now I will use those look like this, and that's to secure the radiator to the bracket. Winston Liu with $5 Canadian.
That's in French.
He's got something in Tagalog on there too, which I will not attempt to read because I will completely butcher that. I have no idea where the syllables go.
That's syllables.
Mm-hmm. That's right. See, I don't want to tighten these and keep them loose. This might be deciding for me from the looks of things. Maybe we just got to slide it right about there. I think will be good. I need you to keep it flat. You're tilting it towards me, and that's causing the screws to go in sideways. Okay, let's see if we push this down any further, right there. Go ahead and hold that for me again, please. And then we'll just go here, here, here. Now, in theory, if I did everything correctly, this should just slide right in place. Let's turn this a little bit. Thank you. Look at that. Just pinch the cables though. I guess we're gonna have to remove these wire ties. Oh, I see what I did. Thank you, Mitch. That's much better. Now we can use the two. I had two screws right here. What did I do with them? I guess they're these two. Should be able to just secure that in. There's one, and then we'll turn the case. It's like too low on this side. That's really strange. Let me loosen this one up a little bit. I guess I just tightened it. And I shouldn't have. And see if that allows me to lift. Isn't that weird? It's just sitting a little lower. Yeah, it's too low. Won't go in. So usually when stuff like this happens, other side first.
Okay.
Then we'll see if this side's too high. So we'll come around this side. Oh, I was going in the wrong side. I see. I have to go on the hole closest to the inside of the case. Yeah, that explains that. Yeah, that's much better. So that's what that looks like. That's not bad, because I thought it looked a little small for the case, but well, we've got about an inch of space here and an inch of space at the top. It sort of helps center it and make it look like it fits better. Because before, when I was seating it, I was pushing it all the way to the top. That left a large gap at the bottom, and it just looked a little bit too small. But now, sitting that way, it looks much, much better. What do you guys think? So Draftco likes me putting the cooling forward. Patrick Rusaw says he only does air cooling for clients. Carrie says water coolers tend to leak after a few years. I never said that. I never said that.
They fail.
Yeah, the pumps fail. So what ends up happening, and you'll see it in the Cosmos 2 build, I did warn I told everybody, I said this pump will fail within 4 to 6 years. And just after 4 years, the owner of that computer brought it back to me. It was overheating. And the reason I could tell the pump was failing is if you just grab onto the hoses, they're extraordinarily hot. And normally when fluid is moving through these hoses, you feel a slight vibration. These hoses had no vibration at all. So I knew the pump was dead based on the timeline, but there was no leaks. I've never seen an all-in-one cooler leak. I don't think I've ever witnessed that in my career. Not that it's not possible, certainly, but not common. The pumps failing after 4 to 6 years is pretty common. Even if the pumps don't fail, the fluid, regardless of who the manufacturer is, tends to gunk up on the inside. You get bacterial buildup and things that can prevent the flow of the fluid, or that the radiator that the fluid's going through in here gets clogged up. Timmy Joe, the tech I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, tears apart an old 140 millimeter pump, and he shows what the inside of it looks like. And in this case, the pump was still working, but the fluid got all kludged up. So he ends up cleaning it and completely rebuilding. He has to cut one of the hoses and then kind of put a manual clamp back on it. And then he fills it with just water from a sink. And he says it in any builds, but he shows that the pump was solid on that particular model. And the pump was still working great, and he put it on a test bench and ran it and was getting really low temps. Now, I personally find that a complete waste of time because it's under $100 for, 140 millimeter cooler. But I guess he just was curious and wanted to see if he could do it, and he did. But generally speaking, if you're going to use a liquid cooler, expect to replace it within 4 to 6 years. I think most people who go with liquid coolers are probably going to want the latest technology at all times anyway, and would probably upgrade the system every 2 to 3 years. That's generally the type of people that want those things. However, there is a trend in people that just like the colors. Give me the RGB this and the RGB that. And they like the look of the pump versus a radiator up here, an air tower radiator. And so they like the look of two. When you've got a glass front, looking at a big heat sink is unpleasant, especially if the heat sink may be covering up your RAM, making it difficult to work on. Or if your RAM was RGB RAM and now your heat sink's covering some of that up, you have no coverage of your RAM there with a water pump. But it's mostly, people install water pumps generally for one of three possible reasons. and that is they believe that it's quieter even though you're doubling the number of fans. They're overclocking, or they like the aesthetics of it, just the way it looks overall. In a Corsair 200R, we can only put a liquid cooler on the rear area, like 140 millimeter, and you've got no case window on that, so nobody's ever going to see it. There's no sense in doing all the RGB and stuff. And on business builds, it's a perfect case. And most of my clients aren't the kind that want RGB, but every once in a while I get one. And I'm happy to build it for them. It's just a lot more cable management, and there's the additional software that can be a pain. But for this build, it's really just a build for fun. It's not a build for business. And so I will do things outside of my normal business protocols just to prove I can, I guess. And it's a little fun to do something different too.
Now, did you want to save that? And you probably have
No,
some
we'll use their compound to give their cooler. I want to make sure that when we test this cooler, that we're using everything from them so we can evaluate. I don't want me to, if I put on different thermal compound, it's not as good as their thermal compound, and it makes a difference in the cooling. That's not fair to them.
Okay.
So if there's any issues with this cooling, it's all on them. On the other hand, I also want to show people how to do this at home. They're likely not going to have a bunch of different thermal compounds like I do. So just use what it comes with.
Yep. We'll come around here and give some shout outs, some contributions. So.
Let's see, what have I been missing with my back to the camera? Planet Cryos with another $1.99. And Joseph Panariello with $5 says it looks good. Planet Cryos again with $1.49 and 99 cents. Thank you for those contributions. We mentioned Winston's contribution earlier.
I think we're caught up. Yeah.
And Paul O'Brien. Yeah. And let's see what comments I've missed here. We're still talking about putting those hoses at the top. Scroll down a little more. Tim Too Much shares his experience. I guess a lot of people, it's sort of interesting to me that people will share their experience, which is fine, but the main difference is how many coolers are we talking about in your experience? 3 or 4? I'll do 3 or 4 of stuff like this every 2 months. I'll do like 2 of these a month. And over the course, year after year after year, month after month after month, the scale at which I'm working at and that I'm held accountable for gives me a little more data. So while your individual experience will vary, the averages that I'm talking about are more at scale. Now when somebody has an issue, like if somebody goes and buys a cooler and they install it and the pump starts working, I don't know, right? Because they're not my customer and they're not calling me for help. So we don't really know what the true numbers are, and I don't know that the manufacturers are being completely honest with their how often their parts are wearing out. But you're good for the length of the warranty, and that should be your warning. So if you're buying a cooler that has a 1-year warranty versus a cooler that has a 5-year warranty, that should tell you something about what the manufacturer thinks about their own product. But of course, these warranties and people's individual experiences, there's a lot of variables from how it was handled, how it was installed, how it was shipped, how old it is, and how it's being used. So, there's other people that say, I've had 3 out of 5 coolers fail. And then you look at how they're installing them and you're like, I'm surprised they worked to begin with. And other people, just bad luck, And other times it's environmental. Somebody might be in a very humid environment that may have an impact on the radiator causing issues. We're in a very dry environment where we get a lot of dust, and that creates a whole different problem if you never blow the dust out of it. You get those radiators crammed with dust and their cooling effectiveness goes right down. So all of these things play, it's sort of like a car. If you said, well, every Chevy I bought crashed, maybe it's the way you're driving it.
Yeah.
It may not have anything to do with Chevy or Ford.
And I get in the habit January and June, so twice a year I open up my computers and blow them out. I understand some people want to do it once a year, but as Carrie said, we live in a very dusty dry, so I just got in the habit of January 5th or something, and June 5th.
Yeah, you can't do it too much.
Right.
Definitely once a year is a minimum.
Yeah, it's a minimum, yeah. So, and I'm always shocked at 6 months.
Yeah, how much comes out of it? It may not even look that bad.
I'm like,
Then
how
you hit
can
it with
this?
the
How
loophole.
can this be this dusty? It's indoors. I rarely open the windows. You know,
You live in a desert, my friend.
You know, so.
Just looking through the comments here, is there anything we can read aloud? Got a lot of different conversations going on talking about Apple and the foundries that do the chip manufacturing, like TSMC. They're opening TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corp, is opening a big facility here in Phoenix. They just hired 250 people who could work over there.
When do you start?
Oh, I'm not working on it.
Okay.
But Intel's jumping into the game. They're going to be fabricating and contracting out for other manufacturers as well. There's good money in that. A lot going on in Phoenix. They're building 3, Intel's building 3, and TSMC's building 1 giant fabrication unit out here.
A lot of jobs for people. But you better update your resume. Okay.
You know something I don't? Here's Marty, says it's a good looking computer, guys. Thanks, Marty. We're just about ready to power it on. We're gonna put the thermal compound down and lock that water block down. We've got to hook the fans up to the radiator. We don't have to add a rear fan at this time, but I will be adding one. And then we've got the front port umbilicals to hook up, and then we should be ready to power it on. This motherboard was prepped in a previous video where we put in the CPU and the solid state storage and the RAM and Windows, and I was using just generic Intel stock cooler temporarily without any thermal compound to do that, because I knew I was gonna use this in something, this motherboard, I didn't know what.
So our smoke test will really fire up right directly into Windows.
Should go right into Windows, and we can start on Prime 95, and then if it's running well, we'll see those temps. That should wrap up today's build. And then I'm thinking, gentlemen,
Can I put on the compound? I want to.
do you want to do it?
I want to put on the glove.
You know,
Carrie's like, I don't trust you.
I had to order more nitrile gloves because
I saw.
well, those are from Harbor Freight. The ones I ordered from Amazon, I ordered smalls, but they barely fit my hands. So those are mediums, and those are probably, so the mediums fit my hands quite well. But I'd be kind of, let me see you put one of those on. This will be funny. Because if it doesn't fit, we must have quit.
Okay.
Come on, go right in front of the camera. Let's watch.
Yeah, it doesn't matter right or left-handed. I'm left. Uncle Mitch is a southpaw, so here we go. I'm not beefing.
That's not bad. Is you practicing?
Figure eight. Then let me do my taps. Tap, 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 tap. I think I got it. We need to amuse ourselves.
Keep it on. Keep it on. We're going to use it.
Okay.
Not wasting gloves over here. When you guys see those bots jump in, you can go ahead and hide those. You don't have to time them out. You can just go ahead and hide those. They're clearly bots. Don't get that glove contaminated now.
Isn't there a T-shirt? I'm was stupid.
Don't get any ideas.
Okay.
Needs to point the other way.
Okay.
Mark Hunter with a $5 contribution says, the more I watch, the smarter I get. Thanks again for all your help, Carrie. Hey, thank you, Mark. Appreciate your support.
Mark, I'm just the opposite. The more I'm around Carrie, the dumber I
I disagree.
am. Yeah, which is, okay, yeah.
How many streaming PCs do I have? One, two,
I'm thinking
three,
five.
4, 5.
About 5, yeah.
I think there's
5, yeah.
I have 5, but I only have 4 capture cards.
Right, yeah.
So one of the streaming PCs, the one that's in the 200R, that's a, it used to be a 2700X. I think I upgraded it to a 3600 or something. I'm gonna take all the streaming hardware out of it, the capture card and the graphics card, and blow the dust out of it and clean it up, and then I'll make it available here to either we'll sell it or we'll
Yeah.
give it away. I don't know.
Continental US only.
Yeah, there's only one person I'll ship to internationally. That's going to be Peter Laycock, and he asked me not to ship him anything. But Peter, I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
You're the exception. I'll pay for it. I'll even pay for any of the tariffs. I'll have it all billed to me
Right.
because he's a really super
So
generous guy.
when you're ready, Carrie
Yeah,
will set you up.
absolutely. So there's sometimes exception to the rules when the people are exceptional, and there's plenty of exceptional people. But Peter, just his generosity is just crazy generous and crazy supportive. Okay, so what I'm going to do to prep this for thermal compound, let me have you step around here so everybody can see you. And we'll get this thermal compound. I don't know how this comes out of the package. Oh, it's got a little cutaway here. Your hand is supposed to be. Here, hold on a second. Mitch and I are looking at a delayed feed, so there's a little.
Yeah.
There you go. Now that'll work. We'll try to get this package open.
Scissors.
Yeah. You say that now.
Shadow puppets. Like a dog.
I don't want to know what you would do at home alone with that.
Open that up.
All right, Mitch, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put.
Please, I'm busy practicing my mime skills.
Rare Apple 3 contributes $5. It's been a while since I've been able to watch a live stream. Glad to be here. Well, we're glad to have you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Ronaldo Torres with $5. Says, Carrie and Mitch, I bought that case with a 10700K using a Gigabyte 490 and G-Scale RGB RAM with an NZXT power supply, which I all bought using your Amazon link. Right on. Oh, look, they sealed it right up at the... I was wondering why I couldn't get the cap off of there. Razor blade out. I'm just between the cap and the syringe. There we go. Okay. All right, Mitch, do you think you're going to do this okay?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Let me just clean it real quick. It's been a while. It's been sitting out. It might have some dust on it. So I'm going to just grab a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Just drop my mic. Isopropyl. Propyl. Not propyl.
Yeah. Isopropyl.
Rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Good. And while he's doing that,
I'm not sure I want you behind me with that glove on.
Yeah, I can do this.
Making me uncomfortable.
Didn't you say that CPU has gone down in price when we looked?
Yeah, the 9900K was what, $375?
Just screamingly fast.
Well, it's 2 gens behind now because you got 8th gen and 10th gen, so that's a 9th gen.
Okay.
So they're probably trying to clear them out before nobody's going to want them. I think by 2022 they're going to turn their nose up. You know, people buying parts are going to be like, why would I want to buy something that's already 2 years old?
Yeah.
There's $5 coming in from Madi. $2 said it's fun playing a happy game of Whack-A-Troll. Hey, you guys enjoy that. All those trolls are just coming in, adding to my view numbers and to the popularity of the video. So every time you remove one and they create another account and come back in, they're honestly helping this channel because it looks like I'm getting, if each account is unique, then each view is unique. And YouTube is based, YouTube pays and ranks your video based on how many viewers you get. So the trolls, don't hate on them. Keep removing them and let them keep coming back in with new accounts, because YouTube seems to like it too, because then YouTube tells the sponsors, look how many viewers we get. So YouTube is just as much of a troll as the trolls are, and if YouTube's going to profit from it, why shouldn't I? That's a heck of a way to troll somebody by saying, I'm going to keep giving you money and popularity until you stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Madi, how's the weather doing down there?
There in Florida. Let's see how. Wow, there's not much in this tube, Mitch.
Yeah, I better trust a professional, or should I try?
Yeah, go for it. Let's see what Mitch can do.
I haven't done this in years. Paint.
He's like the Bob Ross of thermal compound application. Let's see if we can zoom in on you, Mitch.
Please don't. Let me talk like Bob Ross. And today, we're going to paint this beautiful CPU. Just very nice. You want full coverage, just like that. It looks like we have enough. It's beautiful.
Are those happy little trees?
Happy little trees right there. Now can I tap?
Sure.
I'd like to double tap myself.
Double click. You're going to double tap?
Yeah.
Oh, that's zombie thermal compound.
Yeah, double tap out.
That. Blackwatch contributes $8.88 Canadian. Says, when you guys go for pizza, can you leave the camera on? I want to watch the Flintstones. Just kidding. Good feed today, guys. Thank you, Blackwatch.
How's that, boss?
You're hired.
Okay.
Next time, use the gloved hand.
Yeah.
How's it look?
Beautiful, I think.
All right. So you know how to take that glove off so you don't...
Yeah, I'm showing them. Oh, we're in a close-up. Okay.
Oh, let me... I can back it off a little bit here. Or just move the camera.
There's the schmutz. Schmutz right here, so you...
Don't call yourself that.
Yeah, okay.
You're being hard on yourself. Jeez, sometime today, Mitch. Never seen a glove off. I tease him. All right.
Chop, chop. All right. Wings to eat. All right.
Oh, I thought you were referring to Red Bull.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm going to do to put the block on, we're going to put the block on, but I don't want to do it with the case upright. So we're going to set the case flat.
Can I put this back?
Yeah, whatever you have to do to make that backside.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work. And then this piece of protective plastic must come off.
Carry only one time.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
It looks like there's dirt on it underneath there.
Well, you want a Q-tip? Or you got a Q-tip. You want the rubbing alcohol just to be safe?
It's almost like the sticky, whatever they're using to stick this on is leaving residue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's not good. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Let me try to move the camera so people can see that. It's not really that important, but if you're gonna do something, why not do it right? And the whole point of that plastic, let's zoomed in all the way.
Yeah,
Kind of just twist, go left and right a little bit.
Oh, I see a smudge, yeah. I do see a smudge.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah, gotta get
All
that.
this right in here.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can clear that off.
And you think that was from the plastic?
It's from the glue, I think.
On the
Whatever's
plastic,
sticking.
yeah.
So the plastic is stuck on there with some kind of a temporary adhesive. And maybe that was on there a long time. I don't know. I don't know what else would cause that.
Ed said you missed a spot, Mitch. Well, that's good. Nobody's perfect. All right.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Beautiful copper.
Yeah, you know what? It's just not coming off. I'm not worried about that edge because the
Okay.
CPU is going to be, within these screws here. And you can see some stuff has come off. It shouldn't really make much of a difference, honestly. It's just, it's brand new and it shouldn't be dirty at all.
Okay.
Or whatever that is, it's pretty unusual.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put the put the rubbing alcohol away. Please and thank you. And then let me take this back a little bit here.
And again, we wish we could bring you close-ups, but we were having technical difficulties with our
Yeah, I don't want to play with that
wireless
today.
camera.
We'll revisit that another time, and we'll get the audio corrected, guys. I apologize, the audio is a little bit,
tinny.
it might be, I'll have to go back and hear it and make adjustments. We'll just keep refining and refining. So you're in the mood for wings, is that what you're trying to
I
tell
don't
me?
know, I could do it. I haven't had them in a while, so. I'm kind of all pizzaed out.
You're pizzaed out? I've never heard of such a thing. All right, can I see the red driver? We're gonna just do this real quick.
He's going to opposite corners. Now we'll bring that back up on its feet.
Can I see my yellow-handled driver?
Yellow-handled.
For a moment? Just want to check these, make sure they're tight. Well, that turned quite a bit more. So I do have the torque setting set low for that very reason. Not too many things on a computer need to be tightened down like your cooler.
And we've got Merle Essex with 2 pounds.
Thank you, Merle. Can I see the flash light? sometimes there's a water block pin on the motherboard. I see CPU fan. Sometimes it'll say CPU optional. Sometimes it'll say AIO. I'm not seeing one on here. And, you know, I typically expect to see one on a gaming, you know, on a motherboard that's designed for gaming. But I guess we're just going to go on CPU fan right here. Now, I'm going to do some cable management on this later, but for now, you know, that's a long cable. And it looks like there's a plug right here. What's that for? Can you tilt this down so I can see in the top of that block? I completely didn't even notice that. Yeah. Okay, so there's this connector. What'd I do with it? Not that. I had a cable here. Just a minute ago, I just had it in my hands. Where did I just? I think I set it down. Let's go ahead and bring this back up for a minute. That's a fan splitting cable. This is power. This is ARGB. These are starting to annoy me, so I'm just going to move all these. They're right down. If you look down, you'll see a bunch more loose ones.
I don't think you dropped the cable, no.
I just had it in my hands. I don't know what I did with it. That's really bizarre.
Is it stuck on there?
When I literally just had it. I was looking at it, and then I put it down to see if there was a matching connector. Somebody in the chat room can tell me what I did with it. Well, that is very strange. I just, am I looking at it wrong? It's definitely not this. Oh yeah, it is this one. It's here.
Never mind.
I was looking at these two, but there's a third one. This third one has this really small connector that plugs into the water block for the RGB. So these are optional. You don't have to hook up the RGB on this.
Okay.
Or at least, you know, they're gonna light up and cycle through colors, but by plugging it in, it gives you then the ability to synchronize them. And of course, by then plugging that into the board, synchronizes it with the board's RGB software so that whatever lighting on the board will match the lighting on the fans on the block, which adds much more cabling, as you're about to see. But it goes into that hole. Let's see, let's tilt this down again so I can see which way is that gonna go. Okay, so it's gonna go, there's a little raised area here that goes towards the back of the pump. Something that would have been a little easier to do before I installed it. However, thankfully we didn't put the radiator on top or it'd be impossible for me to reach in here. There we go. Thank you, Mitch. And then as far as the fans go, it looks like we can just plug the fans. I don't see any fan controls coming from Enermax. It looks like they're gonna just plug into the motherboard. So what we can do to make this as easy and as quick as possible to get this done, and I might change it later, is take one of the fan headers and plug it into the splitter. Take the other fan header, just want to make sure I'm not missing any other connections. And we'll plug it into the splitter. Now this is just power. We're not even dealing with the RGB cables yet. And then this one can plug into this fan header right here on the board. Likewise, because we're plugging the pump into a CPU fan header, they've given us this adapter so we can plug it directly into the power. Because you never want a pump to scale up and down like fan speed. You always want the pump running full speed all the time. But there's usually a setting in the BIOS to say that there's an all-in-one pump plugged in there. So for now, yeah, that's system fan 1. Yeah, it's pretty unusual that we don't have an all-in-one header. I'm going to leave it on there for now, but if necessary, I will plug this in, but I got to use one of the modular cables to do that. And that means more cabling, and I'd like to avoid adding more cable. We already have plenty. Now, what's remaining on these fans are the ARGB cables, which would then plug into each other. As I mentioned, they're sort of best described as a serial connection. You plug one in, and then you have one out to plug into the next thing, and it's got one out to plug into the next thing.
Like Christmas lights. Yeah.
Just like old school Christmas lights back in the day. We would call that a serial connection. If one disconnects at the end, well, not at the end, but at the beginning or in the middle, anything beyond that won't work.
I don't want cereal for dinner. Cocoa Puffs. All right.
What's wrong with that?
Breakfast of champions.
That's right. Now, these look like they can plug in either way, but there are little arrows indicating RGB, and the G's and the R's should line up. You know, if you flip it the other way, then the arrows won't face each other. So that's how you know you've got the right direction. That's kind of a shame that that's the industry standard for that type of setup, because it's very easy to get that backwards. I don't think it'll hurt anything. It'll just confuse you as to why it's not working. And they put these little caps on there to protect the pins from bending, but these will each plug into one another, and we'll worry about cable management later. For now, we're just going to see how it works. You see how we still have two connectors left over? We've got a female connector here and a male connector here.
Okay.
And this should be able to go onto the motherboard's RGB header. Right down here like this. I hope it's 12 volts. Okay. Let's just, I think just plug in the front switch and LEDs. I'm not going to hook up the USB, and I'm not, oh, you know what? We do have to hook up, we have to hook up one of those modular cables from the power supply to power the LEDs up front.
Okay.
So we'll just grab any one of these that are SATA. And since I have to do that, I might just use that other one anyway.
This one?
No, this one's got modular, Molex. Why's it got Molex on it?
This is SATA, yeah.
Do they all have Molex? These all have a single Molex. Every one of them has combined one Molex with two SATAs.
And this is a SATA here.
It's weird. We very rarely use Molex connectors today. I don't know why they gave us so many of them. So I'll just plug that into the back of the modular power supply, and then we'll take the SATA power cable right there. So that we'll have the front RGB light up for us. So we'll plug that in. Why is it not going? Again, I'm going to ignore the USB for now. I'll ignore the front audio. There's another 3-pin header for something, which I'm not sure what that's for. I think these two go together. This is where reading the documentation would help. there's a third one. Where's this one going? Up there.
Live dangerously.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it'll truly be a smoke test.
No, for sure. All these different RGB standards make it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, in my opinion. They just decide on one standard, but then they get greedy and then they want royalties for it, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to pay the royalties, we'll do it our own way. And then they want royalties. You can't win. That's what's great about USB versus something like Thunderbolt. When there's no royalties involved, it becomes ubiquitous and everybody uses it. But the greed is what prevents it from succeeding. You got to appreciate that irony. Okay, so power LED, power switch, reset switch. No hard drive LED. Isn't that interesting when a case emphasizes RGB and then they take out an actual light that provides critical system information? What is that, distracting from the RGB that's pointless that you've added? I don't understand what's happening there. What's the logic? Can you tell me? We want to add a bunch of unnecessary LEDs, but in doing so, let's take away one that is necessary. Tell me why, Mitch.
Because they're stingy.
Stingy. They're giving us a bunch of needless stuff and taking away something we actually can use. I mean, at least you couldn't, if you don't like a hard drive LED, don't plug it in, but why would you strip it of the case?
I like to see it flashing.
Okay, so there's a reset switch. Here comes the power switch. And then I'll put on the power LED. These cables are there's so little slack between them. When I'm putting on one, the others come right off. But there we've got see, they're coming off again. But why is there no hard drive LED? That is really a bizarre choice. I don't know. These are 4-pin RGB headers, and these on the case are 3. So that doesn't look like they're compatible. So we turn it on and see what happens, just for the heck of it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's put the front cover on so we can see the RGB light up. Yeah. Patrick suggests I use the power LED as the hard drive LED. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good idea. Because it'll be obvious when the power's on, because all the RGB is going to come on. If anything, you don't need a power LED. If there was one LED to remove, why would you take away the one that conveys critical hard drive activity to leave the one that tells you when the computer's on, which you would know because the fans spin and everything else? Very strange decision-making going on at Lian Li. And it looks like there's room for 2 more drives down here on the door. Just on that door, there's room for 2 more drives to install.
2.5s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. With potentially room for a 3rd one if you had the bracket. Because it's got the mounting points on the door. That's interesting. So I got an extra long power cable now. 12-footer. And I've got our HDMI. We're going to be using the built-in video on the graphics card.
Keyboard and mouse coming up.
And then we'll just need a keyboard and mouse. We'll fire it up. Like I said, we just have the USB cable front header to hook up, which I'm not worried about at this moment, and the same with the front port, headphone and microphone jack. Those don't make any difference for us at this point. So I'll have to use USB in the back here for the Wi-Fi, wireless rather, keyboard and mouse. Okay. Let me give you the flashlight back. We should be done with that.
Very exciting.
Man. Riveting, one might say.
Riveting.
All right, let's see how we're going to do this. We'll put us right in. Let's go.
Okay.
And we'll turn on camera 2, which is the, so we flip the switch on the back of the power supply. We'll make sure that that's turned on. And then hit the switch on top of the case. Can we turn the front of it so people can see the front?
Sure, this way?
Yeah.
Or go back the other way?
Yeah, probably, yeah, go that way, sure. So even in an off position, you can see the RGB's lit up.
Keep going?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, hit the power button. Ooh. Let it spin, that's all right. They can see the inside.
I like it.
The Enermax logo on the pump isn't lit up. Oh yeah, it is. It is lit up in there. Can barely see it. It's whisper quiet.
Boy, did that load fast.
It loaded already while I was just talking.
Yeah.
Let me turn these lights down so we can take a look at that RGB.
That was quick.
Let me come over here and turn these lights down. Turn these lights down. And then we'll go full screen on camera 1. And go ahead and spin it around a bit there, and I'll zoom the camera in while you do that. Now the question is, how do we get the RGB to change color? See, the problem is I've got it all hooked up.
Try one of these buttons up top.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Ah, you missed
Look at you.
That's pretty cool.
You like that one?
No, I like the blue. The blue was pretty neat. The solid blue. Red's pretty sweet though, yeah.
So this one button appears to be just solid colors.
Okay.
I'm holding the button in to see if it does anything. And the button on the right seems to cycle.
Multi.
Yeah, but it's not matching. Oh, well, those are two separate systems. I'm just kind of curious if I disconnect it from the motherboard. Oh, it shuts it down entirely.
Need the flashlight?
No. So we would have to load the Gigabyte Aura software, and then we would be able to control. We would be able to. By the way, you shouldn't be doing that with the power on. But these RGB lights will change, and you'll see the motherboard is all blue as well. So all of these will be tied together, and then the front is on its own system here because of what we've got.
All you would need is some of that snuffy Trident lighted RAM and.
Oh, that's true. We could have used the Trident
RGB
RGB G-Skill Royal Z memory in here. You're absolutely right. That would be appropriate for this build.
Yep.
Yes. Good point. Maybe I'll do that. All in all, I don't know why I was so afraid of this case. It really wasn't that bad. No, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Again, I like the solid blue.
You like the solid? I like the moving rainbow colors, but let's see what else. Let's go back up here. That looks like it's slowly changing color. This reminds me of Knight Rider.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Boy, these colors are not showing up right. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to just zoom in more. It's definitely not being true to the colors. Let's go this way. Nope, it's still not. I should be able to manually adjust. let's try camera 2. Maybe we'll have a better, maybe it's just the angle. That's actually camera 4. Let's see if that's a little more accurate. Neither one of these is letting me adjust the video gain. Hold on a second. Why is it doing this to me? Video gain. Where's my option for video gain? Function. Video gain. Manual. Ah, that was my problem. Now I should be able to move this knob. No, it's still not working the way it's supposed to. Hold on a second. These darn cameras, I'll tell you what. Okay, now if I move this knob, now it's doing what it's supposed to. See how the gain, the video gain is makes it look like it's all white. And if I lower the gain down all the way, now you can actually see what the case is doing. That's, yeah, much truer to what we're seeing here in the room.
Okay. And it's whisper quiet, even with the glass, tempered glass off.
What'd you call me?
It's whisper quiet.
So where was I? I was hitting these buttons to see what the different colors are. It's like Tetris. Oh, that just shuts it off. That's good to know.
Okay.
Just hitting the same button over and over again. Well, that's not ominous.
No. Again, I'm going to go with the solid blue. When it fired up, I liked it.
So we made a full cycle.
Yeah.
And then this other button just seems to cycle through the different colors. You know, it just stays solid. Yeah. So Mitch, you like the blue, huh?
Yeah. That one, yeah.
And that matches the default of what's going on in here.
Very nice. What do you say, chat? Blue, blue, blue.
What a difference the camera gain makes. Huh?
Yeah, I like it.
Can it play Stacker? It might. I think that's $20 more. All right, we'll bring the lights back up. Aziz?
I got them.
You got those? Yeah. Good, because you're tall. You can reach those big lights.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we have a working build. Yeah, I think I will change the RAM out for the G-Skill. Of course, I've got some cable management to do, and I'll install the Gigabyte Aura software. And, yeah, I appreciate Ryan G, who mailed or sent the case to me. And we'll certainly send him an email. Thanks again to the folks at Enermax for providing the power supply used in today's build and this cooler. I want to run Prime 95 on it, Mitch, just to see how this cooler's performing, and then we'll wrap up today's video. Blackwatch says he's now blinded by the light.
Oh, and think Manfred Mann and Bruce Springsteen.
So we're going to go here to the desktop. And I've got a flash drive here with my Prime 95 on it. We'll plug in back here. There we go. And I gotta use the right mouse. Go here, here, hardware monitor. I like 26.6 at prime 95. We'll run the hardware monitor first. This is going to give us our temps currently before we've done any, it's just sitting at the desktop, it's not doing much. And you'll see our CPU temps are down in the 30s. It maxed out at 51 since I started the software, but 33 is, it's pretty chilly.
Yeah.
And then we'll go ahead and run Prime 95. We'll start that. And there it goes. And we should start seeing these temps move up pretty quickly. Hopefully we'll keep that hopefully well under 85. It's climbing awfully quick though. That's a little disconcerting that we've already hit 82. I may not have that cooler seated well. That should not have gotten that hot that quickly. I'll tell you another potential problem is the BIOS, because we're plugged into the
Might need a newer BIOS.
No, we're plugged into the CPU fan header,
Okay.
and it's going to be trying to cycle the amount of power going to the pump, and that's going to affect the performance of the pump unless we go into the BIOS and tell it to be full speed all the time, or I use that adapter cable. So I think that's why the CPU got hot, and then I think the motherboard fan controller sent more voltage, and that sped the pump up, and then you saw it immediately drop down.
Right.
So I think I've got the pump seated well, but I think it's a power delivery issue. So let's do this. Let's interrupt this for a minute.
Okay.
And let me go into the BIOS and see what our options are there. So let's just shut this down properly. That's what I think just happened. And that's why it's important that you guys, when you're using these pumps, that you're providing the proper voltage connection to them. That CPU voltage is variable to slow the fan down when it's not needed as much in order to lower the noise. But on an all-in-one pump, you want the pump running at full speed at all times. And on most motherboards, at least modern ones, you can go into your BIOS, and there's usually a setting in here, like that one says CPU fan, it says, see here?
Yeah.
That's what we're worried about. So we want to have full speed, which is the same as just telling it it's a pump.
Okay.
Right? So we just want full speed all the time. And we don't want any Q fan at all. So we'll leave it on auto, no stopping. We definitely never want it to stop. So by using that adapter cable that came with it to plug the pump directly into the power supply, ensures that it never is going to receive a drop in voltage. But again, if it was a fan, you definitely want it to drop in voltage when it's not needed in order to lower the system noise. So we'll save and exit that, and we'll see how long the system takes to boot anyway, full screen. And this means anytime you update the BIOS or reset the BIOS, you better remember to go in there and change that. Otherwise, you're going to see what we saw happen there, and that's not ideal. And it did self-correct, but it went up to 80 something before it reacted. It should never have hit that temperature to begin with. Now that's a pretty good boot up time. I can't complain about that. We're going to start the hardware monitor again, and we're going to start this test all over. So by plugging it directly into the power supply, we could update the BIOS and reset the BIOS and just never have to worry about it. So now we're back down into the 30s. We had a maximum 43 there momentarily. We'll start Prime 95 again. And let's see what it does this time. Because remember, it jumped up to the 80 degree before it started to cool. Before it really kicked the voltage up to the pump, which is not good. And then what we'll do is I'll start my timer on my phone, and we'll let that run, say about 15 or 20 minutes with the stopwatch. And while that's running, we can put ourselves back on. There we are. So what I will probably do, since I have to have that modular cable hooked up anyway for the front LEDs, I might as well just go ahead and plug the pump in. I was trying to avoid having that extra cable, but since I've got the extra cable, there's no sense plugging the pump on the motherboard and then worrying about the BIOS getting reset unknowingly by the end user, who's then going to call me and wonder why their system runs hot. Do the pumps come pre-filled? Yeah, that's that. An all-in-one pump, or an AIO, is just out of the box, sealed from the factory, pre-filled, ready to rock. The pump is very quiet.
Yeah.
Heinrich Johnson contributes 50 Danish krone and says, great build and nice case. Thank you. Is it Heinrich or Henrik?
Yeah, thanks for everybody tuning in today on this Friday. Got off to a rough start, but it's smoothed out, you know, so.
Bill Sony says hello. Rockin' Rob says, it looks great. Gentlemen, I'm liking that case now.
Yeah. Let us know while it's running this test. Let us know where you're watching us from. What part of the world?
Yeah, we've got about 450 people watching live right now. Let's see, what do the temps look like? Come on, OBS, show me my full screen on that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
made a
were
big
well
difference,
into,
yeah.
You know, you saw it jump up to 80, like I said, that the motherboard responded by sending more voltage. But the voltage should never be changing for a pump.
So that made a big difference, that one little
I mean,
click,
we've been going for 2.5 minutes, and we didn't even let it run that long.
Yep.
So we'll let that run. Like I said, we'll go 15, 20 minutes on it. We'll go the full 20, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Ohio, Spain, Massachusetts.
My friend Ron there in the chat says Kumo.
Georgia, Minnesota,
Kumo the puppy says.
Madison, Wisconsin. Is that how it's upstate New York, you know.
Spain.
Sweden. Mm-hmm.
Georgia. Madison, Wisconsin.
Hampton, Tennessee. Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania, upstate New York. Any background noise you're hearing is the air conditioner.
Yep.
That and the audio compressor in OBS is making it sound a little strange. But again, we're going to work on refining the audio as we continue moving forward with these videos. I need something to base it against. Bryce joins us from Wellington, New Zealand.
Oh,
Bernard's in Nevada.
Robin is in Thailand. Well,
You have a couple viewers in Thailand.
Yeah, well,
Luke Greeny joins us from Vermont.
I enjoyed my month in Thailand. Liked it.
Wayne joins us from New Jersey, and Russell is in Kansas. Zvi joins us from Israel. We've got viewers in London and Lexington, North Carolina, as well as Syracuse, New York. Manchester in the UK.
Wow.
Plattsburgh, New York.
It's
Henry Taffler also in Thailand.
all over the world. I mean,
And Rockin' Rob joins us from New York, and Gerhard is in Frankfurt, Germany. Goja is in Poland, and Patrick's joining us from Charleston, South Carolina.
Jeff there in Las Vegas. I enjoyed my time there, my 3 days there when I rode my motorcycle up there and back.
What's that been, 2 weeks?
You know, so that was nice. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I haven't left the house in 3 weeks.
Well, don't tell them that.
No, I just haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't really gone anywhere exciting. It's almost at 5 minutes on the test so far, and of course I always start the stopwatch a good 30 seconds after the test runs. So this, when I say the amount of time on the stopwatch, you can add another 30 seconds or so.
How many cores on this processor?
This processor has 8 cores and 16 threads. Yeah, this is a Core i9 9900K. Cooler is working very well. It's very quiet. I'm very happy with it. I think the installation was a bit more manual labor than others, but it's also less expensive.
Yep.
So I can't complain, mainly because they sent it to me for free.
Okay.
No, actually I can't complain, because even if I'd have paid $80 for it, I'd be happy with that. Now, the question is, has Enermax resolved the issues they've had with the coolant? And that'll only be told in time.
Right.
So whoever ends up getting this computer, I'm going to ask them that if they run into any problems with it in the future, that they let me know, and we'll do an ongoing review of that as, you know, basically no news will be good news, I guess. Mm-hmm. Samuel Ramos joining us from New York City, Deadeye's in Canada, Ken Stout's in Charleston, Illinois. David Griswold is in Buchanan, Michigan. And Steve Welch is in Dallas, Texas. Blackwatch joins us from Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Just across from where we growed up.
Across the Detroit River. That's right.
Yeah.
And let's see, Santa Rosa, California, that's where Robert's joining us. We've got a viewer here, Amethan in Melbourne, Australia. Wow. Catherine joins us from Colombia. Thank you to Christopher G for his contribution, $1.49. Appreciate that. Anthony Wilson is in England.
I enjoyed my time when I was there. Very friendly people.
Glenn Peters says you can buy or build a directional filter for behind the microphone. I'm not quite sure it's the fault of the microphone, but I'll definitely look into that. If anything that makes the job easier. So what'll happen if I put that pump onto the power supply, then we have no fan header on the CPU. We've got no plug on the CPU fan header of the motherboard.
Okay.
And it may alert us after a BIOS update. It'll say, hey, there's no CPU fan detected or it's not working, and then not allow you to boot as a safety mechanism. And that'll force your attention to then go into the BIOS and disable that. So the other thing we could do is we could take those two fans on the front of the radiator, plug those into the CPU fan header, and those will speed up and slow down with the CPU temp. Instead of on system fan 1, we can plug it, and then that solves that problem. Okay. Just route it differently.
Right.
So I may end up doing that.
You got some choices, yeah.
Samuel Ramos with a $10 contribution. Thank you
Samuel,
for your support. Now, Mike Ladd is saying he's receiving the same temps on his 9900K using an air-cooled Mugen 5. He said he reached a max 68C after 20 minutes with the same settings, but we don't know how aggressive his BIOS voltage and what's it called when the auto overclocking? I think of what Intel calls it. I'm sure they'll tell me in the chat, but that can drastically change your temperature reports of Prime 95. Depending on how the BIOS is controlling voltage to the chip. I'm just going to pull the flash drive out of there. Okay, how are we doing on this? Still 68C is our maximum temp at nearly 9.5 minutes of running through. So about half of the way through the test. We're running really good though.
Anybody in chat, Carrie and I have been in here for a while. I haven't looked at my phone, so anybody can tell us what the temperature here in Phoenix, Arizona currently is. What do you think? I'm going to guess 88 is what I'm thinking.
It's hotter than that.
Oh.
Look.
Yeah, I just did. I don't like it.
97 currently.
It's my age in a week. No, just kidding. How can it be that in April, last April, it was a very nice month? So it's like 97. Oh. Terrible, just terrible.
Crazy Vera says, I don't know how to contact Tony Wallow. He sent me a donation through PayPal for helping edit your videos. I was not expecting this, but can you tell him thank you from my behalf? I will continue editing your videos, but I've not had a chance due to being busy with my daughter's graduation. And then he says, sorry, I just sent Tony an email, and he says he's wondering if I might have a gaming PC available I might want to get rid of. He wants to give it to his daughter as a graduation gift. She wants to use it for gaming, but he's not sure what game she might play, and for college use. I do have some machines. But again, the hard part is the GPU, and you'll have to talk to me about it. But thank you for the email. And let me take a look at emails here. Oh, there's Ryan, the person who sent the case. He says, Kerry, I'll definitely take you up on your offer. I'm going to send Ryan this computer. Ryan has been, he's contributed, he's been watching the channel over 7 years.
Wow.
And he sent a number of things over that time. And I just want to emphasize to people that I understand that we live in a world of instant gratitude, and people can sometimes react too quickly to things. So Ryan sent this case, and he didn't say, hey, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it? He just, and he continued to send other things, by the way. And I want to give back to the people who give. And Ryan has been not only patient, but he's also been generous. And I definitely want to send this to somebody who will appreciate it, not just turn around and sell it or something, And obviously, I don't know what anybody's in, but you get a feeling with certain people. And I'd love to put a graphics card in it, but I think what I can do for him, though, is put do a nice job on the cable management, and then pretty much as is.
Yeah, I'm still jealous. You're going to get one heck of a machine,
And like I said, I really postponed this because I procrastinated. I didn't think I was going to enjoy building on this, but it turned out I wish I had done it sooner because it was a real pleasure. And it is a solid case.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's in Nevada, so the shipping won't be very expensive. It's just one state over. If it's the right Ryan that I'm thinking of. And I think he's really going to enjoy it. And I want him to receive, what's the right word? He's invested in me, and now it's time for his dividends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is
great machine,
and a great viewer. I mean, what a very nice thing that he did.
Yep.
You'd think Lian Lee would have sent me the case, but no, a viewer sent me the case. And he says, I appreciate the community you built here for everybody and all the knowledge you shared. Thank you again, and I greatly appreciate it. See, I'm all about the gratitude, man. I'm telling you, I just like that more than anything. And the Jack over at Enermax saw what we did, but it was around 1:30, so we hadn't even gotten started yet. So we'll hear back from Jack. $50 came in from Luke Greenia, and Jeffrey Ryman sent $25. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Via PayPal.
This is through PayPal. Those are what I'm looking at now.
Nice.
That catches us up.
And of course, as always, Amazon, I can't even talk today because it's Freaky Friday. Amazon gift cards
too much?
Amazon gift cards are always appreciated, as they say in England. Yeah.
Petroleum with $3.50 Canadian. He says, because the Loch Ness Monsters. Oh, it's true fitty.
Okay.
Did I tell you about the time I met the Loch Ness Monster?
No.
Mm-hmm. Well, me and the little ladies, we're in a boat, in a canoe. And from underneath the water, this giant, scaly creature standing 8 feet tall from the Paleolithic era came out of the water. And it was so scary. And I said, Loch Ness Monster, what do you want? And that Loch Ness Monster bent down. He looked at me with his big red eyes. And he said, I'm going to need about $3.50. I said, get out of here, Loch Ness Monster. We make our own money. We don't just give money out. The little lady, she gave him $1. I said, why are you giving him $1? She goes, I thought if I gave him $1, he'd go away. If you give him $1, he's going to think you got more.
Yeah.
Then the Loch Ness Monster says, well, how about $2.50? I go, what? Is there some sale on Loch Ness Munchies?
Yeah.
Get out of here, Loch Ness Monster. Then we had a knock at the door. It was a cute little Girl Scout. She had little pigtails, right? And she said, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? And cookies do you have? And she goes, we got Graham Crunchies and Thin Mints. I said, I'll take a box of the Graham Crunchies. How much is it? And she goes, that's going to be about $3.50. Well, about that time, I realized this little cute Girl Scout was actually 8 feet tall and scaled and was a creature from the Paleolithic era.
Yeah.
I said, you tricked me, you Loch Ness Monster. Get out of here. We earn our money. Something like that. That's an old episode of South Park, which is hilarious. as you can see. And I did a terrible impression.
You said it, I didn't. How long have we been running on the stress test?
Well, you didn't have to agree with me. You didn't.
Have
even
you
hear the
always
original.
wanted to be a stand-up?
I just always wanted to stand up.
Yeah, don't quit your day job.
I'm good at taking other
Leave it to
people's material.
professionals here. All right.
We're at 16 minutes and counting. And let's see, what's our temp? What's our temp? We're reaching, what is that, 78? 79 is our max. Yeah, it's hard to believe a Scythe Mugen 5 would keep that at 68. Something doesn't sound right. I don't think he's hitting his max clock speed. If we scroll down in this, we can see, oh, I gotta use the right mouse. We can see over here, see how we're hitting 5 gigahertz? Currently we're at 4.7.
Yep.
So when it's running 4.7 or 4.8, it's based on what calculations it's doing at the time, but that's obviously going to run a bit cooler. When it peaks out at 5,000, that's where you're running your max temp. So the more you're hitting your turbo speed, because you're going to turbo between, it should be stock at about 4 and then turbo up to 5. Then the higher this number is here, then the higher your numbers on temps are going to be. So we're hitting 82 and we're just 17 and a half minutes in. So that's, wow, it's actually not, this cooler is not cooling as well as I thought it would.
Right.
However, it's not bad. I don't know. I just thought it would be, it wouldn't break 80, honestly, so I'm surprised at that. However, if you look at all the cores, only one has broke, well, no, 2 of them have broken 80. The other 6 have been well below 80. Well, 5 of the 6. But you know what, it's still 18 degrees below the maximum. And nobody realistically would push the CPU this hard for this period of time. We're at just over 18 minutes. We'll let it go 2 more just to see what it does. But overall, I just thought it would cool a little better. But it is an $80 cooler. And we got to keep that in mind. Mike Ladd is saying his clock speed was 4.8 to 5.0 at times, and he's got a very good airflow case. It just seems hard for me to believe that you would never have broken, what do you say, 68? That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right to me at all. But hey, it is what it is. Does water cooling take a bit of time to stabilize before temps get better? Not that I'm aware of. It's really up to the size of the radiator and the speed of the fans. Remember, we've got the fans in a pull configuration. If we put them in a push configuration, it might drop it down, but not 2 degrees maybe Celsius. But overall, it shouldn't make that big of a difference. The same with any sort of stabilizing wouldn't make a 10-degree difference. If anything's under a 10-degree difference, it's just too negligible to make a difference in my line of work and in my experience. Anything less than 10 degrees difference isn't worth your time or money. Chris Garrett says, Carrie needs a pizza and a Coke. Do you hear that, Mitch?
Yeah.
I think he's right. It's probably going to cost me about $3.50.
Yeah. Well, we just exceeded 20 minutes.
Oh.
So shall we shut her down?
Yeah.
And get out of here.
I think Mitch is getting hungry.
I'm a bit peckish. What about you?
I could tuck in.
Yeah, I could eat.
So it looks like our maximum was 83.
Yeah. Watch these temps come down when he
Now, I would be
stops.
curious. Okay. Oh, 84. I would be curious if we put a Mugen 5 on here, what that actual difference.
Or that Noctua.
Or the Noctua, but we'll do that another time with another board, because I'd like to get this wrapped up and sent out to Ryan. But we do have some videos coming up where we're going to test some different coolers on one board, just so we have a baseline.
Okay.
And we'll test the air cooler from Enermax. We'll test the the two Noxuas against each other, the Redux version of the U12S with the Chromax version of the same cooler versus the Mugen 5 versus the Be Quiet Pure Rock 2. And we'll see, based on price, ease of installation, and cooling ability, and let you guys come to your own conclusions as to which of those things are stand out for you. I'm not going to tell you which. I'll tell you which one I'd buy once I see the results. But they're all very adequate coolers, and these are extreme cooling tests. So we're going to stop this test, and that should result in much cooler temps coming down on this side now. And this is really where it's going to sit most of the time, right? And when it cranks up on the frequency, it's typically just going to be momentarily, and then it'll drop back. So it's pretty rare to run a CPU that hard, flat out, for over 20 minutes. It's not very realistic in most use case scenarios. So the cooler is more than adequate for normal computer usage. I'm very comfortable with it. Let me shut this down. You see how fast that shuts off? And then we'll go back to full screen on camera 1 and we'll say our goodbyes. There we go. So my thanks to everybody who has contributed today. Tony Wallow, what a...
Yeah, really, today's show has been brought to you by the
Tony Wallow.
The ginormous...
And Peter Laycock, and John Wilson, and Ryan, who provided the case, and from Enermax, who provided the power supply and the cooler.
Yep.
What did we do? It seems like everybody else did everything.
Right.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for allowing us, giving us the means to do this.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the rough start. I'm sorry for the rough audio. We're refining it.
We'll fix it.
We got those little bots coming in earlier, taking care of that for me. I appreciate your help. Those of you who are not yet blue, stick around, be friendly in the chat, interact with others, be supportive, be kind. You don't have to contribute money to be blue. It's just a way of showing, for me, who's a regular here and who's a kind person. You can see we have some unkind people. They don't last too long here in our community. So we're just trying to keep the weeds out of our not a vegetable garden, that's just an insult.
Yeah.
But out of our garden, our beautiful garden, we want to keep the weeds out because they're sucking up the nutrients from the... I should have let that go a while ago.
A while ago.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Mitch is keeping me on track today, digging myself a hole so I can plant a seed. I'm back to the garden
again. Okay.
Wait a minute. I was going to tell you about my hoe.
Okay.
Never mind. It's a gardening instrument. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you all again very, very soon. Until then.
Bye for now.
What he said.
Yeah.
I have to find an outro. I wouldn't.
Oh,
I should have been doing this before.
Mr. Speedy. Yeah. Okay.
All right. We'll go with this one.
Bye.